takes care of himself.
And that is just a snapshot of what it's been here the last 2 nights at the High Limit International. It's not just a race, it's a party. It's been just such a great atmosphere here over the last 2 nights. But tonight's payday, pay night, call it what you will. It has been about payday. He's been awesome here the last couple of nights. We welcome you to the Perth Motorplex for the final night of 2025 in the High Limit International. Down the pits here, Matt Nolte, Chase Rodman alongside me, Chad Naylor with this later on tonight. Mate, we've had an incredible 2 nights, but you just feel around the paddock now. There's someone walking around with a check for $110,000 and there's 42 of them fighting for it.
And this is just going to be incredible. The amount of people here compared to the last 2 nights. I mean, there's already a ton of people here the last 2 nights, but just look at this. These people have been here for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours waiting to see cars get on the racetrack. I've mentioned it several times, but the fans here, they are rabid, they are passionate, and they cannot wait to see who walks out of this place with $110,000, most of them hoping it stays in WA.
And it's fitting with 4 drivers locked in for tonight already. We've got 2 Americans and 2 Australians.
Yeah, you couldn't, draw it up any better. That's exactly what we were hoping to see was, the 2 factions kind of coming together and both sides having drivers that are in the mix for this win. We'll talk more about those locked-in cars in the dash here in just a few moments, but these fans, they have been sitting in those seats. They are ready to go. We're just minutes away from hot laps getting underway for the 2nd edition of High Limit International.
Now, we've had formats the same the last 2 nights, but tonight there's a little difference.
Yep, there are your locked-in cars to the dash. Those 4 drivers on your screen at the top of that graphic, they had the most points over the last 2 prelim nights. That was Buddy Kofoid, Cory Day, Jock Goodyer, and Dane Kingshot. We'll have heat races tonight, 8 laps in distance on those. The winners of the heat races will then go to the dash with those other 4 drivers. The dash is 7 laps. It'll line up the first 4 rows of the feature. A B main for 15 laps, transferring in the top 4. There will be 2 provisionals that will be used, 1 for an American driver and 1 for an Australian driver. And there is the main race as well. $110,000 to the winner. Of course, that is Australian money, which I believe equates out to about $79,000, $80,000 in American. And you can see how it is sorted out through there as far as the positions go. But there's the format. It's been different the last 2 nights, but here we're on the finale. It's time to pay the bills here.
Not a bad way to earn a living, if you don't mind as well. That's the format for tonight, and so many drivers that are sniffing around that top 10, but outside looking at the moment, there's about 6 or 7 drivers that want to get inside that top 20 because that's critical to getting that B main.
Yeah, it certainly is. And here are the points from the last 2 nights. Caden Manders just missing out on that top 4 to make it almost 3 Australians up there. And Manders was 4 points behind Kingshot. And then it's a pretty big gap there between, you notice that there, Matt, between 5th and 6th. I mean, it's 17 to 46 right there. So there was really 4 or 5 guys that had 2 good nights and a bunch of other guys that maybe had 1 good night and then 1 maybe decent night, and that's what we're kind of seeing here.
And the one marked in yellow is not just our favourite driver of the weekend, Andrew Priolo. That's the guy they need to get past. If you're Justin Whittle, Jason Kendrick, Xavier Doney had dramas last night too. They all need to be on the inside that 20 to keep going.
Yeah, and we'll keep flipping the page here and showing you where the rest of the drivers are kind of sorted out there. Mikey Green, he's been a guy we've been talking about a lot this weekend. Unfortunately, had that spin out when he was in the transfer spot in the B main last night. A couple of these other guys have, had some moments. Taylor Milling comes to mind. He's 33rd in the points, but he was leading the B main last night, ran out of fuel. So some of these guys just had some tough nights.
And for Mikey Green, he missed his heat race last night, so he probably shouldn't have been in that B main to begin with. But sadly, that's dropped him down the points order. So that's the 42 cars that contested the 2 nights here, and 2 nights of competition. Some of the regulars have been coming here for years, quoting last night's feature race was up there with that one from 2 years ago. Some are saying it was the best one they've ever seen here.
I mean, Perth Motorplex was the talk of the town last night when it comes to social media. I saw one comment said, what's today? December 30th, and some guy said it was the race of 2025, he thought.
There you go.
And 2025 is almost over.
Leave it to the second last day of the year. This is night number 1 of the High Limit International. Buddy Kofoid, who was amazing here on Boxing Night. Cory Day, who had to do it from 28th to 2nd on Boxing Night. Didn't need to pass as many cars as he went past Jock Goodyer in the early stages.
There was a lot of lead changes and a lot of things going on through the first about 21 laps of this race. That was when we saw the first caution fly, as there is Day making his way by the 71 of Caden Manders. But, up at the front early on in this one, it was all Buddy Kofoid all the time. But once he got to traffic, there were some problems that came about, and he would end up holding on for the win. But at one point in time in this race, he does fall back to the 4th spot.
Wasn't a night for Kyle Larson. A right rear on the 1K forced him into the work zone. He would recover to at least get some points. That was the move Cory Day put on Caden Manders. And he quoted after the race, he didn't even know who the guy was in that 71. He sure does now.
We talked to him in a pre-race show earlier on today, and he kind of mentioned that, but I think he knows who these guys are for sure at this point in time, if they've been running all around him here for the last 2 nights. But it was payday, 2 nights or a night after making his Perth Motorplex debut. He took to this place very, very quickly.
25th American to win a feature race in the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series, Cory Day, with that win here on the first night. And he's grown in stature. In fact, there's so many number 3 shirts getting around, not just for Callum Williamson, but for Cory Day. Night 2, it felt a lot more serious than night 1.
Yeah, and it was a way, way, way different racetrack compared to night number 1. There was a big track rework right before this feature rolled out. They tilled the bottom, they tilled the top, they laid some water down on the surface, and I was a little worried. Okay, maybe it might be a really fast track for the first 10. No, that was not the case. There was action all the way throughout the field in this thing, and it just made my respect level for this track go up even more to have that track work go on and still have a banger of a feature event.
It was. That's the word they used for it last night after that endurance race that was the B-main early in the night that went for nearly an hour. From the drone cam, that was Dane Kingshot starting to make an impression on Cory Day, and Cory Day said, no, you park back there. In fact, that hit of the wall there, I thought that would be enough for damage on the KMS car.
It was not the case, though. He would still rebound to finish up on the podium, but this was absolute chaos back here as Jock Goodyer, who ended up finishing second by the end of this thing, was very, very good, very solid and very stout the whole way through, ran the car all the way around the racetrack on the bottom, on the top. He was throwing sliders. Here's Cory Day. He goes to take the lead from Buddy Kofoid. They're making their way through lap traffic, and then Kingshot would get himself in the mix here in just a few laps.
There was 5 cars in one shot. In fact, it brought Larson and Sweet into it at one point as well. That was around the outside through Maddington Toyota Turn 2. This is the battle we were talking about. Can't say enough about Jock Goodyer's run last night. They really found the secret sauce with that 22.
You'll see here in just a moment that Brad Sweet comes from basically out of nowhere on the very inside of the racetrack and is able to take the lead for at least 1 lap of this main event. These guys at this point in time, they're just trying to kill each other out there is what it looks like. I would not bother to be involved in this battle here between 2 of the most aggressive drivers in sprint car racing, that being Kofoid and Day. Here comes Kingshot. I thought right here maybe he'd get a big run and make the move for the lead. Wasn't quite able to get there, but almost going 3 wide down the straightaway. You see that Landrigan Motorsports 49 car kind of float in the background. He comes into the fold very quickly.
Out of nowhere as well as he hugged the curb there in that blue and white 49 car was Brad Sweet, who split in between Kingshot and Buddy Kofoid for a moment here down in turn number 3 as they encountered the lap traffic at the midpoint of this race. It was on still. We had, I think, 4 or 5 different lead changes by this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And here comes Sweet. He'll throw his hat in the mix, and he would lead this next time by as Day had to, get off the cushion there to get by the slower car of Xavier Doney. And, Brad Sweet, he takes the lead here, but then he makes a mistake on the bottom and kind of misses the grip down here right about there. Slips up a little bit too much. Day back around the outside. He would regain the lead. Here comes Kofoid, who was just in 4th, is now back to 2nd.
And paid the price for that mistake on the bottom. Kingshot was on the move here as well. Kofoid stepped back for a moment here in that number 7 as Larson and Sweet all got involved here as they went past Xavier Doney in the 16, but he would suffer some drama later in this race.
And this is what we expected to see from Kyle Larson. Unfortunately, he had a flat tire on night number 1, but night 2 it looked much like the young money we were expecting to see. He gets involved. He finishes inside the top 5 last night. He's in the mix for a podium spot. We'll see if he can get everything to line up for him. If the stars can align, he can go back-to-back for the Highland International. Cory Day, a big hit to the wall right there, which would cost him the lead.
You picked that out the commentary box window. I thought that was enough to wound the 3. He powered on to continue in this 30-lap main that had a couple of stoppages in there, but they were late in the race. This was the first one for Xavier Doney. The Paul King team fixed that car overnight. He's good to go for the final.
Yeah, and you'll see another big incident here in just a few moments. We'll talk more about that, but then on the restart, it would be all Buddy Kofoid jumping out with the lead. Then this was absolute mayhem back here. Jock Goodyer gets in front of Dane Kingshot. Kyle Larson off the bottom. He pulls up next to Brad Sweet. A 4-car scrap for this Ford. Make that the 3rd spot. 3 wide there. You couldn't ask for much better. 3
different lanes they used as well. These 2 almost got together. Larson and Sweet at the bottom of turn number 3 as our leader started to disappear away. And in the background was a huge shunt between Madsen and Chris Coyle, a brand new car for the merger contracting team, and in fact tore a fence panel down. They repaired that within 5 minutes. They had a couple of words down here on the way through, but it was another long night for the Chatwin team. They've built a brand new car ready for tonight. They finished at 1:30 this afternoon.
Yeah, incredible that they are going to make the comeback here and continue to give it their best effort. I applaud them for that after having to go to a new car 2 nights in a row here for High Limit International. On the restart, it was Buddy Kofoid. He had the cushion wired. The race for second was a good one as Kingshot would make his way by Day. There's Kyle Larson as well. I thought for a moment Kingshot would be able to take down that runner-up spot, but there's a a slider from Cory Day. Just incredible stuff. They almost bumped tires there.
Just a bump of wheels there at high speed down the Triple M back straight. All of a sudden, Larson and Sweet were on the scene to join this fast train of carriages heading down the Opal Finance main straight, but that let the leader off the hook at this point.
And there's a close call, I believe, coming up here between Larson and Sweet. They almost bumped tires coming off of turn 4, but here comes Kofoid. He would come off of turn number 4, and he'd pick up another win here at Perth Motorplex, his second in about 4 nights, if you include the boxing night feature that he was able to get the win on, and that would solidify himself as the second high point earner for High Limit International.
The moment he arrived, I talked about this during the week, the moment he arrived here on Wednesday for the media day, it's like he'd driven here for 20 years. He's only in his early 20s to begin with, but he's really connected with this Perth Motorplex track. That car he used once during the season in 2025, now owned by Trent Pigdom, so it's a regular fit for him to drive around here, and also a win for Toyota, which has never happened here before.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned it in his interview with Tony Laporta that Toyota sent down 2 engines just for this race, so they are going all in with High Limit Racing, as they say, High Limit International, I guess you could say here for this one. So Kofoid definitely going to be tough to beat. That dash is going to be super, super important. If you're on the pole of this thing later on, you're going to be obviously in one of the best spots to try and take down that $110,000. And wouldn't that be something if the front row were 2 guys that had never seen the Perth Motorplex before until this weekend?
Well, we talk about Bodie Kofoid as well. Cory Day has been a standout, winning plenty of fans, and so too is Tony Laporta.
The top point earner through 2 nights of racing here in preliminary action, High Limit International. A victory on night number 1, just off the podium on night number 2. Cory Day, you're a Californian. Answer me this. How are the vibes here in Perth, Western Australia so far?
Yeah, the vibes are good, actually. Honestly, pretty close to California, I'd say. It's, yeah, we're right by the beach. Summer, sun's out, clear skies. It's pretty close, in my opinion.
Man, you took a big step away from me when you started to answer that question. I will brush my teeth later, I promise. Hey, payday, new money, you've got all these nicknames. You're taking this rapid rise through the motorsports world. 20 years old, right now? You're about to start a season with Hendrick Motorsports in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, just 1 level down behind Cup. Is all this happening a little too fast for you, or is this the pace you want?
Yeah, I don't really know. I've actually had a few conversations with my girlfriend about that. I just, yeah, it's all happened really fast, you know? Like, I just started racing sprint cars 5 years ago, and you know, I got 1 full-time season of that, and now I'm racing NASCAR full-time. So, yeah, it's all happened really fast. It's, you know, be honest, I never thought I'd be anything more than just a local sprint car driver in California. So, you know, I think it's cool that it's all happening. It's stuff that I never thought would happen. But yeah, it's definitely happening fast.
Your girlfriend, the talented Ashlyn Rodriguez, a 360 sprint car racer in her own day. She had a career as a nanny, which sets her up very well for taking care of you in a relationship. This is all a good thing for you in the long run. $110,000 on the line. If you win, give us just a little taste of what may happen following the celebrations here at Perth tonight. What are you going to do? How are you going to celebrate? How do you enjoy a victory? Not just with the money, but of this notoriety. High Limit International, racing on the other side of the world. What do you think you'll do to enjoy it?
Yeah, I'll definitely, you know, hang out with the crew after. These guys bust their butt for, you know, the past 2 months getting this thing ready for me, and they've worked really hard this week, just, you know, running 2 cars, and they've all done a great job. So I'll definitely, you know, hopefully spend some time with them and, you know, buy them something. I don't know. I'll figure something out to do to pay it back to them. But, yeah, I'll hang out with the crew after, maybe get on the piss, as they say, and, yeah, have a little fun.
Maybe we can go to Golden Corral when we get home?
I don't know about that. You might be by yourself on that one.
You never want to go with me to the corral. Cory Day, he is chasing $110,000 at High Limit International 2025. He is your high point man after 2 nights of preliminary action here at the Perth Motorplex.
We may all be getting on the piss with Cory Day later on, as he said there, if he's able to get the win. That would be fun.
At least he's picked up some of the words over here.
Yeah, there's some that he's also learned that we cannot repeat here
Nope.
on this broadcast today. But, yeah, he is definitely just, he's gained so many new fans from this week. And I've seen so many of these Cory Day #3 shirts just in the last couple of days. He has been moving some merchandise out of that area.
Absolutely, and so has this guy. This guy's been a fan favourite for many years now, reigning Maddington Toyota Series champion is Dane Kingshot.
So many people talking about just how good night number 2 was and how good Dane Kingshot was in the mix in the Cricky Hot Rod. Last night you were bumping tyres with some serious competition. You taking a moment yet to watch back last night and enjoy what a crazy race you were in the middle of?
I have and I haven't. We're still a pretty busy time here, so It's really, really cool to be a part of that. Just be up the front with the calibre of drivers that we are. So hopefully we can keep that going tonight and finish up the front there.
Does it feel like home ground turf that you need to defend when the Americans come in? Because this has become your home lately, the Motorplex, and you're willing to defend it.
No, I don't think so. Like, it's crazy because the track's different every night here. So I feel like we don't get any home track advantage. It's just we're always chasing it, and these guys are so good at it, you know. And it's still just another race. At the end of the day, I'm still in the race car just racing like I would usually. So in the moment, I don't think about it too much. But once we're out of it, it's pretty cool to be where we're running, you know, as a Perth team. So it's hopefully, like I say, it's tough, but hopefully we can stay up front there.
Yeah, podium last night. What's going to be the difference tonight? I mean, there's an awful lot more money up for grabs. Is that going to change the mindset of those boys at the front?
I mean, they look like they race like it's for 500 grand to win every night anyway. So, but yeah, look, it's tough, and it's going to be tougher again tonight. But I think you just have to be good. You just have to make no mistakes against these guys. And even last night, I think we were pretty quick towards the middle of the race there, and just made too many little mistakes and washed too much speed off. And you know, you make one mistake here, you lose 2 spots. So it is that tough at the moment. But if we can put a good race together, I'm pretty confident the boys will give me a good car again. And I just have to get everything right and hopefully time it, and we might be able to steal one.
There's going to be a lot of people who can be very proud if you can bring it home tonight for this team. It's an awesome opportunity for you tonight. Go get them.
Thanks, mate.
As Chad mentioned there, a lot of people would be proud if Kingshot could pick up the win here. Obviously, he is from WA. He's been a great story this week, and a lot of new people have known the name of Dane Kingshot with 2 podium finishes. He will be in that top 4, locked in. He will not have to run a heat race, so it's been a fantastic week for that team.
He's done such a brilliant job for the Cricket Motorsport team. They took a gamble on him a few seasons ago. They had the likes of Brooke Tatnall, Kerry Madsen, and even Robbie Farr drive for that team. They gave what was really a notable speed car champion a chance from Bunbury to drive the famed number 2. He had back-to-back podiums. So did this guy. He's had a great week so far. Jock Goodyer, our former national champion, and Chad caught up with him earlier.
Jock Goodyer, great to see you running in that top 3 last night. I get the feeling tonight's going to go up to another level. What's it going to take to walk away from the Motorplex tonight with all that money?
I mean, it's going to be hard. Probably just really good laps at the end of the day. The 30 or 35 laps, whatever it is. Make no mistakes. Obviously, you're not racing no slouches out here. They're professionals, and we'll just give it everything we got. Obviously, it's $110,000 on the line, so you're not going to leave dying. So, just excited to get after it.
You've won some pretty big races here. You're a long way from your original home, but how do you find running here at the Motorplex?
It's probably one of my best tracks that I go to across the year and across Australia-wide. So, made sense to obviously come back here for High Limit International. Last year probably wasn't really as successful, so we sort of wanted to come back and redeem ourselves. So, yeah.
All right, and the field is so strong this year. You get a little bit of a chance to run with guys like Larson and Abreu and all these amazing guys from America, Cory, Day and Buddy. What are you learning from them on the track that you might be able to take into some more local racing?
You don't really learn much at the end of the day. It's sort of, you're just racing, and you know you can race them with respect. Obviously, they're professionals, and you know that they've got control over their cars. So you can race hard back, and that's probably the biggest advantage of racing guys like that. You feel more secure, and you feel like you can actually race hard and not worry about something happening in front of you. So, sort of that would be the best bit.
All right, mate, well, good luck tonight. We'll see if the Aussies can get it done.
Thank you.
He said last year was a disappointment there, but this year has been far from a disappointment. Second last night, another top 5 on the first night, as well as put Jock Goodyer as well inside of that top 4 lock-in. He will not have to run a heat race, and he is going to be one of the top Aussies when it comes to the finish here this evening.
Yeah, he knows how to dominate around this track. He was the Australian champion here back in 2023. Have a look at the fans up there in turn 4. Give yourself a wave up there. We're going live around the world here. High Limit International is building up. When we come back soon to the Perth Motorplex, we'll check out the cars on track. You're watching Flow.
Aaron Reitzel from Clute, Texas. Here driving the Monty Farms 17. Just out here to drive for Luch Monty. Called him up, and we talked about it for a few weeks and put a deal together, and really excited to get here. Watched a few videos of Perth, and this place is awesome. It reminds me of Eldora, but a lot smoother, and just nice, wide, sweeping. I think it's going to be an awesome experience. when I was at home and people asked what I was driving for, I told them, you know, I feel like I'm driving for the most prestigious car in Australia. I told them I put it as at home, I'm either in the TSR or the KKR car. I don't think there's a better race team out in Australia than the Monty car. So yeah, just really happy to get the opportunity to drive for Luch and his family. And I think Luch and I have already hit it off well. So I think we've already become really good friends. I've already put down a few tens, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a good relationship.
Williamson back to the lead for a moment. Sweet finds back in the Napa Auto Parts car, but Williamson leads another lap. And look at Abreu to the bottom. He might just get the lead here in the 24. We're watching something special here at the moment.
Yeah, so funny you brought that race up. I never seen that race until today. I was on the way here. I looked up a couple races, and that was the first one that popped up. And wow, that was a race right there. I was talking to Rico about it earlier, and yeah, that was awesome. And I think this is kind of one of the tracks, the type of tracks I like to race. You know, it's got a lot of room for those big sliders and stuff, but it's a chess match too, because you know you got to pick when to slide yourself and block a slider, but you can't do it too much because the guy gets such a run on the top. So it's really a chess match race is what I like to call it, and I seem to do pretty good at those. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to race at Perth.
Describe your driving style, Aaron.
Kind of like a caveman. Me hold gas down.
Unga bunga.
Yeah, exactly. Caveman. Me hold butterflies open.
Yeah.
Big RPMs.
Yeah.
I seem to get myself in some trouble sometimes, but I feel like when it gets slick, I can definitely go with the best of them at being conservative and smooth on the throttle. I think that's part of the reason why I'm good at Port and Eldora and some of those places. But when it's time to be stupid and hold the gas down and make stuff happen, I think I can do that too.
Available now, Fridays, Sea-Doo and Can-Am. 42 Bakewell Drive, Port Kennedy, Western Australia.
Total Tools, we're the experts in tools for tradies. If you've got the job, we've got the tool. We won't be beaten on live prizes. Total Tools, totally sorted.
Fast February is all about the festival of sprint cars. 5 massive nights of racing in 9 days. The Barbagello Australian Mr. Sprint Car National. The performance race gear, midweek mayhem. The Total Tools Rookie and Pretty Boy Shootout. The nation's best drivers, plus the USA Top Guns. Motorplex.com.au.
Hey guys, I'm Rico Abreu from St. Helena, California. I'm at the Perth Motorplex right now, and I'm excited to be here for racing for Boxing Day, High Limit International, and January 2nd Speed Week Series.
Williamson back to the lead for a moment. Sweet fights back in the Napa Auto Parts car, but Williamson leads another lap, and look at Abreu to the bottom. He might just get the lead here in the 24. We're watching something special here at the moment.
You know, going back to that race, I think it was my second night here competing at Perth Motorplex. There's a great shootout between Cal and Brad and I, you know, and it ended up me running second, Brad winning. I think Cal was third or vice versa. I knew Brad won, but the race really, I felt put Perth Motorplex on the map, you know, and duking it out with Brad and, you know, going into the start of, you know, the first national touring series of High Limit and, you know, that big announcement. So it just, there was a bunch of energy around this event, you know, and what Perth Motorplex has done over the last 25 years, and now to get put on the map is pretty special. And now to have some international races, you know, and bring in all the elite drivers for a crazy good event.
Larson separated through the traffic. My goodness me, that was awesome.
Last year was tough leaving Perth before, you know, the races started, and I've gotten into had an accident, you know, broke my ulna and went home and watched all the racing on Flow and Clay Per View, you know, which a little bit of FOMO not being here, but, you know, put me in a good place to really work at, you know, being in a better position in life. And I'm, you know, here now, and I take this day by day. So if we can get to 10 o'clock tonight, I'm definitely in a better spot than I was last year at this time. You know, I think first and foremost the facility, just to get for the fan base here on the west coast of Australia and just Australia in general, getting to come experience an amazing facility at Perth Motorplex. Us drivers from the States, we race 75, 80 times a year, and we get to go to all these facilities, these racetracks, you know, from fairgrounds to private facilities to Eldora, Knoxville. And I tell everybody, you know, coming 3 years ago and getting to compete at Perth Motorplex, this is a top 5 venue when it comes to motorsports. And just in the infrastructure and what Gavin Migro has done here. And, you know, now he's got some elite drivers coming yearly and putting on a show and competing against the Australians, building a little rivalry, and people are digging into that and building that excitement up. And the second thing is the track, the surface of the racetrack, just the shape of the track creates good racing, side-by-side racing. You can have guys start in the back and run to the front, and that's what sells our product is exciting racing, and that's what Perth Motorplex creates, and that's why I'm here.
Just that, it's thousands of fans lining up for the 24 machine all week long. In fact, the day before Christmas, we had people queued up out the gate to get a piece of Rico Abreu, whether it was merchandise or die-cast models. In fact, they were sold out, Chase, in under an hour here on Wednesday.
I mean, he's just ultra popular, right? I mean, he is the most popular driver in the sport, bar none. And it's not even close. I mean, you could talk Kyle Larson, right? But he runs NASCAR. That's not the same. If we're talking guys that only run sprint cars, there is no one more popular than Rico Abreu, and it is a massive deal that he is here for High Limit International, especially after the incident last year. He gets injured. He's not able to make it out. Sure, things haven't quite gone his way this week. He hasn't had the results he's wanted, but tonight's the one that really pays, and hopefully he can turn it around.
And it certainly does pay, and look at the fans here. That is packed on the main street. We remarked walking back to the commentary box how busy
the back straight looks. That is busier than 2024 already, and fans are still pouring through the gates here at Perth Motorplex, where it's 31 degrees and little to no wind to talk about. You don't hear that too often in the afternoon at the Perth Motorplex, so ideal player comfort conditions when we send these cars out soon for what will be a hot lapping session, and for some, their only look before the dash race tonight.
Yeah, and you can see the flags in the infield. I mean, they're barely waving right now, which the last couple of days they've been straight out 20, 25, 30 miles per hour of wind. Today, less than 10. There is a look at Brad Sweet, who was up inside the mix last night with a 6th place finish. He did lead a lap of the feature after coming on strong down on the bottom. And here's a guy that's a very interesting story coming into tonight.
Talking to Dean Putland, who's part of the team down there, and John O'Coyle, who would rather been doing other things for his birthday yesterday instead of building a new car. I said, you guys could do this stuff with your eyes closed after the week they've had there. There was enough damage with the chassis last night to put that on ice for the rest of the weekend. That is a brand new car that they fixed up at 1:30 this afternoon to get the car down here tonight.
Another guy that got things turned going in the right direction last night is the 17 of Aaron Reitzel on your screen. He finished up 7th. The night before, he was 21st. He barely snuck into the show out of the B main. But yesterday, he went plus, I think, 5 or 6 in the feature. He came up to 8th place in the main event and put himself in a decent spot for tonight's heat races. And another American right in the center of that first 3 wide there, Brock Zierfoss, who just quietly been very, very good every time he shows up here at Perth Motorplex, and especially when Highlander Racing comes to town. Last year, Brock Zierfoss, he was 9th, 6th, and 6th in 3 features for Highland International.
One Sprint Car Speed Week here back in 2020-21, where he didn't finish off the podium in any of the races in that year, driving for Sean Carron's team. And Sean's been around this gig for decades now and has some of the best collectible cars you can see down in the paddock area. If you're at the venue, make sure you head down to the pit paddock during the course of the night and check out some of those legendary Steve Kinser cars and Gary Rush cars that he's collected for many, many years.
There's Carson Macedo. We're getting a look from the front side of that 60 car for J&S Racing. It's the W64 Macedo. You know, prior to this week, Boxing Day and these 2 nights with Highland International, he had not been here since 2018, and that was with the World Series sprint cars. So it's been a long time for Carson Macedo. Back then, he ran 5th and he ran 24th in those 2 main events. So far with Highland International, 15th, and he was 9th in the feature last night.
With that J&S drilling team, which is another one of the icon teams here in the West. We look at the field on either side of the straight. We're watching Kerry Madsen being pushed out. Another team that worked later tonight to get the Devil Race Cards Geotech car for Diamond Bay Motorsports repaired as we start pushing them away for engine heat. Engine starts, if you're Australian, for tonight's final, the High Limit International, $110,000 up for grabs, and a capacity crowd on hand to watch here for the second running.
Yeah, you see the back straightaway we talked about on the way over here. I mean, the last 2 nights, sure, it's been very, very good crowds, but I don't recall seeing anybody in the bottom 2 or so rows on the back straightaway, and they are full from turn 2 all the way over to turn 3. The place is packed in, and there's another guy that you just saw on your screen that brings the fans out, and that is the defending Highland International winner of Kyle Larson, who, like many guys, we talked about the pre-race show, Matt, there's been guys that have had, a mid-night, I guess you could say, and one good night. That is what you could say about Kyle Larson. 17th on night 1, blew a tire, and yesterday he ends up in the top 5, challenge for a podium, and now, I mean, if the trend goes it, 17th, 5th, we'll see what he's able to do tonight.
Yeah, we saw that last year. It's always got that feel about it. The Schlam JPM car is almost ready to fire as he works down the back straight here to bring some heat in. Jason Kendrick, what another forgettable night for the Triple M 92.9 team. He was in the running there in the B main for a while, got caught up in an incident, but then missed the show by 0.136 of a second. The car pace is there, the luck's just not.
I think he was involved in two or three incidents in that B main for the 3-time Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series champion. I did pick up the Jason Kendrick shirt today, so that was one of my priorities here today on the final night of Highland International. Had to get a Jason Kendrick shirt, so I was able to get that. And there is Callum Williamson, the teammate to a car that has went to victory lane this week with Cory Day, of course. Callum, he's another one of those guys that's kind of been up and down so far this week in that number 3 car. Finishes of 7th on night 1 and 17th here yesterday.
So looking at the Opal Finance Main Straight, dramas here for Cody Clayton by the look of it, and looking around the MSD ignition box once again, the Highline Motorsports driver. He's the son of Daryl Clayton that heads up this team, a 2-prong attack with Cole Macedo. It'll be great for Cody to learn the ropes with. Cole has been with the team for this week in the Intimidator Boats West Coast Rewind
and Wormel Developments team. Very well presented. Of course, Darrell ran for many, many years here in the Maddington Toyota Series.
Must have been some damage to that car last night. I did see on Facebook today that Cole Macedo had one of the wing panels for sale, so they must have damaged the wing panel last night. Obviously got it fixed up for this evening. Tony Laporte here in the infield.
It's an MSD ignition box swap for the W40 of Clayton. They're already attaching the ignition box back to the firewall. Back between the frame rails here. They feel confident this is their issue. I've got a John Day Ute already lined up behind. Hopefully we will get him fired off here very shortly, but a quick ignition box swap down here. Not the way these guys probably wanted to start the third and final at High Limit International, but the good news is, Chase, as you always teach me, it's not how you start in life, it's how you finish.
That's correct, Tony, and so, good to have that happen during motor heat, not during the heat race, or hot laps would have been as bad either, but good to not have that happen during the heat race, which is going to be so very important when we get to that point of the program, as there is Aaron Reitzel, the Monty Farms number 17, a multi-time winner this season with High Limit Racing over in the States, a 7-time winner, and we know that he'll be over going to the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic, which he won that race back in 2024. I saw that today on Facebook, that he will be making his way over to Premier Speedway. So Wright's going to have a pretty long Australian trip.
Yeah, it's a lot of racing still to come up through January here in Australia. Taylor Milling, we saw a quick glimpse of the Totally Workwear Kale Gooley case and drill entry car 25 that ran out of fuel while leading. There's a lot of drivers that had a question mark next to their name late in that B main. Sadly for the Kalgoorlie driver, had to pull out, cost him a spot in last night's A main.
Yeah, you could just see the disgust when he was behind the wheel when that happened. And there is Brad Sweet right there on your screen in the familiar 49, a little bit of a different number font there, different team, of course, with Landrigan Motorsports. Caught up with him a little bit last night after the feature was over, along with Joe Mooney, the crew chief of that car for the weekend. And they were pretty happy with how things went. They caught a couple of bad breaks with Kingshot getting in the wall in the backstretch, chalked him up a little bit there, and he lost some ground. But Tony, what do you got for us?
Guys, it's more than an ignition box on the 40 at Clayton. They pushed him all the way around the turn 3 and 4. They went all the way down the pavement on the back straightaway, push shoot. Then they made him around through 3 and 4, and the car did not come to life. The crew has jogged across the infield here, and they'll go to work to continue to diagnose the issue. But now things starting to get a bit more heated as the heartbeat picks up, because if you don't get the engine fired here, it just sets the entire night off on a bad foot. Yes, they could get fired off during one of the heat race starts, but I'm not sure off the top of my head what heat race Clayton rolls off in, but they are continuing to try to get this car to fire off. He has not put heat in this engine yet.
Thank you very much, Tony. I'm sure there's also some people back in the States that are trying to put some heat in them as they are just waking up over there. If you are watching at home on FloRacing, and make sure to let us know on Twitter. Tweet at FloRacing, at High Limit Racing. Let us know if you're watching from back in the States, whether that's on the East Coast, the West Coast. If you're a West Coaster, man, you are a trooper. It is an early one over there. Maybe you stayed up all night, maybe you got up early, not exactly sure, but we do appreciate you tuning in for High Limit International tonight at the Perth Motorplex. A couple of cars making their way into the infield, indicating that it's nearly time for hot laps to begin.
To answer Tony's question, Cody Clayton will start from 9th in Heat 2 tonight, so it's very compounded by the fact he's starting from the rear. Hopefully they can diagnose that drama, because he's in his rookie season in the Maddington Toyota Series. It just needs laps, and why not run against some of the world's best?
Absolutely, and to learn from a guy like Cole Macedo is obviously huge. There is a guy we have not seen so far during this motor heat session, and that is James McFadden, the current Australian champion from Alice Springs, Northern Territory, Australia. Two-time High Limit International winner last year, and a second-place finish on the finale. Hasn't quite had that speed here this year. Unfortunately, he probably would have been right in the mix for the top format, but had an issue late in the race last night, and he had to go pit side and came back out, finished in the back half of the field.
Yeah, 15th position after starting 8th. He had 2 big drives on Boxing Night in the first limit of High Limits, driving from 13th up into 6th and 11th up into 6th on the first night of High Limits. Kerry Madsen, DNF last night, and like the Coyle team, they've been working to get the 26 back out on the track for the 4-time Aussie champion, who started 17th in the main after starting front row here on Boxing Night.
Yeah, good to see that car back on the track. And there is J.D. Dack, who did sneak into the feature last night, and that wild last corner crash with Mikey Green that promoted J.D. up into the feature. And Tony Laporte, I'm not sure if you got your ears on or not, but I can report to you that I do have a J.D. Dack t-shirt ready for you. He delivered it to me on the stage earlier. It is a 2X. I think that's your size, but I got it up here for you, and so I'll give it to you later on.
Not in Australia, I'm not a 2X. I'm about a 3 or a 4X in the way they cut shirts down here. But what do they say? Hooly dooly, hooly gooly. Somebody dared me. I wouldn't say that. I hope it's not an incredibly offensive term. I was told it's essentially the equivalent of crikey. But that's the way I operate. I don't really understand what I'm going to say before I say it, so that's what I have to say. Cricky Motorsports is the team that is fourth in event points. Crikey is how I feel when I learn that I've just gotten a new shirt from my good mate Chase Rodman. They are still working on the 40 of Clayton. They pushed him around for another trip around the track. He is matriculating. I got in trouble for saying that earlier this year as well. I remember that. They leaned in the cockpit, popped the steering wheel off, and Cody tells me just absolutely no feel, nothing at all electrically trying to help that motor turn over. So not good. I guess you'd call that dramas here for Cody Clayton. And I'm going to quit talking like such a local, guys, and go back up to Chase Rodman, who usually nails the pronunciations. Chase, back to you.
Yep, no dramas, Tony. Thank you very much.
His accent's getting thicker than mine.
It is. It really is. That's what happens when you spend 3 days. Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's all it takes is 3 days.
It's our great friend Muppet, who's catching a lot of the behind-the-scenes footage here at the Perth Motorplex, while Cody Clayton is going with the hood off once again. We just saw Mikey Green, a lot of attention on the 74 happening down in the infield area as well. So the man was in a good position last night, but missed the gate call for his heat race. Saw him in the B main and then was spun late in the race there that cost him a start in the final. So that is the 74. Keep an eye on this guy. He's getting better and better every time he gets out behind the wheel in what's been, well, starting to turn out to be one of the toughest seasons we've seen here in the West.
I'm telling you, I think I said it to somebody the other day. Like, I was watching him, I watched him on Boxing Day, and I've watched him the last 2 nights. He's got that look of a driver when he gets around the speedway. You can tell the fundamentals are there. I feel like he's going to be a guy in the next 2 or 3 years that is competing for top 10s when High Limit International comes to town. He has that look about him, getting around the speedway and in the pits. I mean, he seems like a great kid as well. So looking forward to the future of Mikey Green. Unfortunately, things not going the best right now. Hopefully they can get those resolved as we see our first couple of cars rolling onto the racetrack right now. This is hot lap session number 1, and there is the runner-up from Sunday night here at Perth Motorplex with High Limit International. It's the driver from Quinana Beach, Western Australia, the Nadasco Supply, Eastside Concrete, Valvoline, Scarterfield, Smash Repairs, Elevate Trailers, number 71. It's Caden Manders. Caden Manders in the 71.
Here's the man from Kalgoorlie, the Totally Workwear Kalgoorlie case and drill number 25 of Taylor Milling, hoping to get a strong result with a car that is mighty fast this week.
Just behind him, a driver that's made the feature both nights so far this weekend. He is from Midland, Western Australia, the WA Fuel Colonial Freight Line CJD Trucks Castrol number 9. The driver is AJ Nash. AJ Nash in the number 9.
Behind in the Castrol, entry is the J&S Drilling Napa Auto Parts car of Carson Macedo, who drove up 11 spots. He was our hard charger in last night's main event in car number 60.
And the man that went to victory lane here at this race 1 year ago from Elk Grove, California, it's the Schlam, Authentic Collectibles, Harmon Transportation, Tribridge Holdings, number 1K of Young Money, Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson in the 1K.
And a brand new car for the merger contracting team, car number 79. Chris Coyle is back tonight in that merger contracting Dunnington Asphalt Recyclers, number 79 machine.
And rolling along just behind him in turn number 1, that is Matthew Cross. He is from Secret Harbor, Western Australia. The Adamson and Cross Park Engineering, Teeny Granny Flats Cycle Bar, number 94, as we do see Mikey Green with a problem, pulls back into the infield. The problems continue on the 74.
And a new wing sporting on the Trey Lee Hay entry of Miles Bolger, car number 13. That's in this group of cars. So just a hot lapping session only. There's no qualifying for tonight. Once they do this, it's a heat race. If you're in that top 4, you're going to the main event. If you win it, you're going to the dash.
Lap times coming across the screen. So far, quickest is going to be Justin Mick. That Chris Coyle, 16:391 for Chris Coyle. And that new car appears to have some speed, at least early on in the night here on the finale of High Limit International. 15-second lap time for Kyle Larson, and now a 15-second lap for Nash. He'll go to the top of the board.
So heavy conditions. So what we saw in that first session of last night, Justin Whittle, the Rob Hero number 21, his second year with the team. He's been out for a couple of races before the Christmas New Year period. Manders quickest now at 15.24. Macedo second, Justin Whittle, and Kyle Larson that you're watching is in fourth ahead of Chris Coyle.
Very similar conditions to last night. We were seeing 15-second lap times in that first section. Close call of turn 1 for Bolger. Got up in the grease. Almost got the wall down there. Was able to peel it back down the racetrack. But the fastest lap time will belong to Justin Whitall. He gets into the mid-14s at a 14.522. Chris Coyle second, 14.725. Taylor Milling at a 15.006. Following him is Caden Manders, 15.240. And Carson Macedo in fifth at 15.254 seconds. Kyle Larson, AJ Nash, Miles Bolger, and Matthew Cross. It does appear that we will have these drivers slowly pace around the track to help bring in the racing surface here. A little bit of moisture. Sounds like 2 laps we'll be doing that, and we'll turn them back loose and see if we can improve upon those lap times, which is what we saw here yesterday, the same exact thing.
And didn't the lap times tumble those 2 bonus laps? We've found at least 1.5 seconds. So they'll space out once again, and 2 extra laps at the end of this session. Hot lap session 1, High Limit International for 2025. If you've just arrived at the grounds, find a spot. It's going to run out pretty quickly. Fans have been here since early in the day, soaking up the atmosphere of the second installment. And I'm sure there's people watching across Australia and across in the States are going, we need to be here in 2026.
Yeah, it's going to be standing room only here this evening. There is no question about that. I don't remember seeing people sitting up on that hill in turn 2 last night as well. So, I mean, it is getting jammed in here right now, as there is Carson Macedo, who currently sits in the 5th position as far as the lap times go here in this first hot lap session. The green flag comes back out. They'll get a few more laps at speed and pull it off the track and get ready for their heat races later on. I believe Kyle Larson will be on the pole of one of those heat races this evening, along with Caden Manders. Those 2 drivers in this session here, both on the pole of the heat race later on.
There is Larson, who's 6 before this part 1A of hot laps continues. He's coming towards Miles Bolger now. So the Schlam 1K that took home 100 large here in 2024, looking to do the same this year. Matty Cross in the Adamson and Cross cycle bar number 94. Circles around the venue in 9th position. Larson to the top now. There we go. Like yesterday, 13.8. We found over a second already.
And now a 13.789 for Kyle Larson. He's followed by AJ Nash at a 13.996. Drivers finishing up their final lap in hot laps right now. And Whittle goes to the top of the board now.
Displaces Larson by just 0.02 of a second to put him at the top of the charts at the end of this first hot lapping session. Americans 1 and 2. Great job for AJ Nash in 3rd position with that 13.996. Caden Manders was next. Chris Coyle 5th. Taylor Milling 6th. Carson Macedo in 7th. And Matty Cross and Miles Bolger. Shame for Mikey Green not to get those gremlins out of the 74, at least get some laps in before his one and only shot in the heat races tonight.
If they can make it, if they get those repairs done, I'm sure they can tag one of the later hot lap sessions here in just a few moments. As here comes another driver that will be on the pole of one of the heat races later on from Grass Valley, California, driving the Landergan Motorsports TLC Contracting Slim's Tire Service number 49. That's the big cat, Brad Sweet. Brad Sweet in the 49.
6th last night. We check in Brock Zierfoss in the Fennell Tyres Velocity Truck Centre's entry for Sean Carron's team. Car number 95 is in the field tonight.
And from St. Mary's, New South Wales, Australia, the Geotech Australia Devil Race Cars, Sprint Lubricants CS Designs, number 26. They call him the Madman. It's Kerry Madsen. Kerry Madsen in the 26.
Much better night for Rico last night in the 24 DeCandelo Steel City Denani Hot Shots entry. Rico Abreu in the field here at the Motorplex tonight.
From Osborne Park, Western Australia, the Triple M 92.9 Canningville Toyota Castrol Novus Glass, number 11. It's Jason Kendrick. Jason Kendrick in the number 11.
Hoping for a better result. This guy has the pace but needs a result. The Dingo D Motorsports Sprint Lubricants, number 44 of Ryan Lancaster, and the bright yellow and black number 44.
And also circling the speedway right now, it's Chad Pittard. He is from Bunbury, Western Australia, the Bunbury Ram. Pittard Motors, Century Batteries, Nobel Smash Repairs, bar 31, number 92 WX.
And the newcomers to the sport, Kerry Madsen, part of the field as well. We've got Jai McKenzie in the 46, who impressed you the other night in that 46 machine. It was only his 2nd start in a sprint car this season, and certainly a name to keep an eye on over the next couple of years.
No question about that, as along with Mikey Green, those are 2 guys that I think could be a big part of the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series in years to come. The 46 and the 74, who we are talking about right now, as they do get the signal now. Time to get on the throttle pedal, get underway with this second hot lap session. Rico, as we mentioned, the last 2 nights have been less than desirable, but he can make up for that with a big win here this evening. Zierfoss making his way into turn number 1. looks like most of the drivers maybe being told by race officials to try and circle around the bottom, specifically in 3 and 4. You don't normally see that when everybody's kind of running the same line in hot laps, but it definitely looks like they may be being told, hey, let's try and work that bottom side in for the heat races. Waiting for the lap times to come across our screen here, and we will share them with you when that does appear. It looks like Brad Sweet's time is a 14:9:20 as he currently shows the way.
And clear track ahead for the Landrigan Motorsports car down at Schlam 3. He's got John McKenzie further up the speedway as he blazes under the Maddington Toyota cable cam. Brock Zierfoss, you're watching in the Blue Angels livery, cut of a 95 across the line. Second place now, 13.756. And that's a better turnaround for the Triple M 92.9 car. Jason Kendrick quickest now.
Yep, Jason Kendrick to the top of the board. It's a 13.626 for the number 11 car. Brock Zierfoss right behind him, also in the 13.6 second bracket. It's a 13.671. Jai McKenzie in the 46, a 13.677. Brad Sweet fourth, 13.748, and Rico Abreu at a 13.917, followed by Kerry Madsen, Ryan Lancaster, and Chad Pittard, the 8 cars that were in that session.
You were talking about who was going to start from the pole earlier for tonight's heat races. Caden Manders will be on the pole for the first heat. Brad Sweet off the pole for the second heat. Cole Macedo off the pole for heat 3. And James McFadden off the pole for heat number 4. There's some tough customers all trying to get into the dash.
I just find it so interesting. The 4 lock-ins, it was 2 Americans, 2 Australians, and 4 guys on the pole of heat races, 2 Americans, 2 Australians. You love to see that happening as we now roll on the third group of cars. The driver leading them onto the track is from Myalla, Western Australia. It's the Fridge Tech, Phoenix Petroleum, Perella Steel, Australian Produce Brokers, number 77. It's Brad Mayolo. Brad Mayolo in the 77.
Up next, Nutrien Water, KSN Hydraulics, and Napa Auto Parts number 18. Finished on the podium here at the first night of the season. It's Daniel Harding.
And cruising behind him into turn number 3, he is from Osborne Park, WA. The Titan Ford, Inspirations Paint, New Style Living, All-Well Manufacturing, number 8, Andrew Priolo. Andrew Priolo in the number 8.
Up next, second of the Intimidator boats, West Coast Rewinds, Wormwood Development's entry. It's Cole Macedo in car number 40, Cole Macedo.
And from Odessa, Missouri, the Donna Racing Engine, Snay Lawson Chassis, Tailor-Made Wings at number 16, it's Xavier Doney. Xavier Doney in car number 16.
And this guy, we can't say enough about the Gold Coaster from Queensland and Australia, the Vance Mobility number 65, Stingray-backed entry for Pete Motorsport. It's Luke Oldfield.
And rolling into turn number 1 now, that is Daniel Keene from Boyne Up, WA, and the Boyne Up Sellers, Samuel's Plumbing, Keene Boys Transport, Southwest Auto Detailing, number 94, it's Daniel Keene.
Xavier Doney was trying to get going then, but Harding wasn't ready. They try and find a bit of space around this 500-metre oval. That is the Perth Motorplex, 22 metres from the pole line up to the big, unforgiving concrete walls. This third session of hot laps is underway. Both Highline Motorsport cars out in this one. It's good to see for Clayton. They've got that car sorted. As I say, that is a hint of smoke for the 40. He makes his way down to Schlam turn 3.
Most drivers running the inside portion of the track in 3 and 4, top in 1 and 2, just trying to get the track worked in better, Matt, because without qualifying and all that, the track is not going to be quite as slick as we have seen it the last couple of days, especially if we don't have a support class like late models, a support class like speed cars that can tear the track up a little bit. They're giving these guys some extra hot laps to, give them a racy surface for the heat race later on.
We've called enough races over the years in a commentary box. You can hear the same engine notes, and when you hear someone going off, it seems to pick up this position. I'm detecting that's the Cody Clayton car that sounds either a bit rough or it's missing.
Still getting around the racetrack at least, as Cole Macedo is at the top of the speed charts here as they're about to wrap this session up as the yellow lights come on. It's Macedo at the top, a 13.546 for the number 40 car. Luke Goldfield second, 13.627 seconds. Brad Mayolo in third, a 13.669. Xavier Doney in fourth, a 13.694. And in fifth, Andrew Priolo, 13.732. Cody Clayton, Daniel Harding, Harrison Pete, Christopher Harrison, and Daniel Keene. So Clayton's car may not be hitting on all cylinders, but he was still 6 out of 10 cars in that session.
Sounded like it cleared itself towards the end of that session, whatever the drama was for the second of the Highline Motorsport entries. They make their way back into the pit paddock area. Looks like Mikey Green's going to do the same. We can see out of our commentary box window. So there must be more to the story with the 74 car. He's starting mid-pack in his heat race later tonight. Leaves us with one session of hot laps remaining before we get into the heat races. Formula 500s will be supporting tonight's third night of the High Limit International Series as we look at James McFadden, three-time Aussie champion for Team Brady Racing, 2 wins in succession, and led a lot of the main race here in 2024.
He really did. Almost came out with that 6-figure payday as he will be pushed onto the racetrack along with Callum Williamson, the number 3 car from Geraldton, Western Australia, in the Mobil 1 Avalon Group New Ground Water Fridge Tech number 3.
A lot of fan favourites out there for Callum Williamson. Here is James McFadden, beautifully presented PCB, Asbestos and Demolition, Hot World Fabrications, Aussie champ, back home driving for a West Aussie team.
From Clute, Texas, the Gen West, Rumbold Ford Spud Shed, Gold Star Transportation number 17. That is Aaron Reitzel. Aaron Reitzel in the 17.
Wouldn't this guy like some good luck tonight? Geotech Devil Race Cards number 5 of James Inglis. James Inglis in car number 5 back tonight after a DNF in last night's main.
And just behind him from Martin, WA, the Denani Hotshots, MJ Walker, Bayless Electrical Group, Proline Concrete number 22. It's JD Dack. JD Dack in the 22.
Big benefactor of that last lap drama in the B main. We check in with Cam McKenzie in car number 4 as he works his way around the speedway here for this session. Relative newcomer to the sprint cars, but certainly known for his Formula 500 exploits over the years.
From Boyanup, WA, the Pro West Electrical, the Lane Train, BVA Metal Fabrication, Witten's Irrigation number 45. It's Cherky, Aaron Cherkop. Aaron Cherkop in the 45.
Here's the 51 Barclay Engineering, Rumbold Ford and Generation AG entry. It's Tim King aboard the 51 tonight.
And the final driver in this session is from Casuarina, WA, the MDH Transport, M&J Williamson Cartage, East Palmyra Tire Service, Rowland Contractors, number 24, Jack Williamson. Jack Williamson in the number 24. That will round things out for this final hot lap session of the evening.
Night to forget, wasn't it, for the 24 machine? And could say the same for the 3. They've swapped chassis overnight, incidentally, Callum Williamson's team, so he's back in familiar territory. And hopefully that'll bring in some luck later tonight and maybe $110,000.
Yeah, we heard from Cory Day during the pre-race show earlier on that they had a car that they'd wrecked that they were fast in a few weeks back and haven't quite been the same since then. So maybe that switch to this new car tonight will turn things back around. For that number 3 car, there's Aaron Reitzel. Comes across the line to put in a 14.879 second lap. That is the fastest so far in this group.
Superseded quickly by King, then James McFadden, then Callum Williamson, who slots up there in the top 3 position now. The Baddington Toyota cable cam and past turn 1 and absolutely packed on top of turn 2 are the race fans. McFadden to the checkered flag, 13.249 will be the quickest lap of this session. Callum Williamson second, 13.378. Aaron Reitzel will be third. Encouraging for the Monty Farms team, that 13.435. JD Dack is next, 13.545. Jack Williamson in 5th position, 13.598. Then Tim King, 13.637. In 6th position, Aaron Cherkop is 7th with 13.682. James Inglis in 8th, 13.816. And Cameron McKenzie in 9th spot of 14.285.
It's been a great weekend for him. Cameron McKenzie has made both features here this evening, or this weekend. I think it was 18th last night, 20th the night previous. 14.285 for him. Not a great lap, but they have been able to make their way through the B main both nights and be a part of the show. That has been great to see, as it looks like we've got the Formula 500s about to make their way out onto the racetrack for the first time here tonight on the finale of High Limit International at Perth.
Chase Rodman will be back during the night for our High Limit International night number 3. Welcome to the Perth Motorplex, everybody. If you're here for the first time, where have you been hiding? Coming back and do it again. This is one of the world's best venues for not just sprint cars, but for motorsport in general. And the fans know what they're in for here tonight. Monster fireworks to come up, the Formula 500s about to hit the track. A field of over 20, Dan Leach. They are absolutely rolling up for this event tonight, aren't they?
26 in total. There you go. It is going to be an absolute monster field of Formula 500s that are coming out for tonight's program. What a fantastic afternoon it is here in Perth. You mentioned before we were about 31 degrees. That's Celsius, about 88, I think, in the old Fahrenheit language. But it has cooled off a little bit with the sea breeze in. The southerlies are in at the moment, so that is starting to cool things off. But boy, it is absolutely packed. Taking a walk around the spine about 30, 40 minutes ago. It's hard to move at some cases, but then as soon as the sprint cars come on, they all go straight to their spots, straight to their seats, and they want to take in absolutely everything that is to do with final night of High Limit International, and it is going to be so exciting to see. As you mentioned, the support program are the Formula 500s. They're out here thanks to Opal Finance. If you're a homeowner with a mortgage, you're no doubt feeling anxious at the moment, you can contact Opal Finance to arrange a free home loan health check. opalfinance.com.au is their details. So the field rolling out right now. It is, as I said, a field of 26 that is involved. It includes David Sinagra and Chris Dimmick off the front row. They'll be leading us off with the 72 of Isaac Arnold and Tyler Sutherland on row number 2. Glenn Mears and Mark House, the 23 and 24 right next to each other. Then Shane Anderson and Debbie Garland in position 7 and 8. Row 5 will have Glenn Carstairs and Brendan Marshman. And row 6, Shane Devonshire and Rod Jamison. To row 7, Todd Broadwood and Troy Samuel will make up positions 13 and 14. Stephen Element, one of the absolute legends of Formula 500, starts from position 15. Cody Taracchio, who is very, very quick in the Formula 500s, is going to be right next to him, so watch for row 8 to be real quick. Chris Della and Dylan Sutherland in position 17 and 18. Cameron Heats and Logan Harrison, row 10. Jeff Ross, Darren Rodwell, row 11. The West Australian number 1 in Reese Cumming is right near to that, position 23, with Todd Pages in position 24, and Logan Visser and Alvin McCavanagh, the new guns, going to be starting positions 25 and 26.
Now, this isn't a feature race, incidentally.
No.
This is only a heat race, and we decided to chuck them all in on night number 3. Great to have the Formula 500s. We've given all of our premium divisions a run here supporting. Obviously, we can't run them all each night, so our division's getting a chance to run on the big stage. And isn't it mighty? Look at the wall. Look at the people looking on from the back straight as these Formula 500s get set to open up the racing account for 2025 at the Perth Motorplex. Of course, January 2, our first event of next year, and Speed Week continues here at the Perth Motorplex. Down Saturday night, we head to Bunbury, back here for 2 more nights to wrap up this WA Sprint Car Speed Week that started back in 1982. The original, and some would say the best.
Competition inside a competition inside a competition. We've talked about it being at the Bushkadol of series at the moment with High Limit International. Outside of that is Speed Week. Outside of that is Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series. That's the Formula 500s. They get to have a bit of a show tonight. 26 cars. They got 8 laps for their opening heat. David Sinagra, Chris Dimmick to lead things off. As the lights go green and off we go racing. It is a swarm of them coming into the Opal Finance front straight. A couple of them tangled down the front, and one's gone sideways already.
And that was always going to happen. Glenn Mears was about 6 rows. No, I'm kidding, maybe 2 or 3 rows, and made contact here. And they're putting 23 out of business.
Yep.
He's going to the infield, so race control have pulled the trigger quickly, and it's on Stephen Element, who's a regular and a former champion. Let's have a look at the replay here. And around they go. Poor Steve Element going, where the hell did you come from?
Down the front straight, you can see it there, just gets tangled up. And Stephen Element, as we mentioned, one of the winningest drivers in Formula 500s here in the West. He is already taken out of this one. Just a bit of a squeeze up ahead of him. And that might have been Glenn Carstairs. He squeezed up with the 49 car. And that's all of a sudden, the Mears had nowhere to go. And Stephen Element also had absolutely nowhere to go. And he was taken out, and he is now driving away, which is at least something.
Just a slight bit of damage to the wing panel. In fact, it's a bit more than that. It's going to be a handful, probably thanking that it's not too windy out there. Car number 2, the All-Talk SEM entry, heading down the back straight, so not even 50 metres into the first race. The first collision of the night. Let's hope that's not the scene setter here at the Motorplex as they come past us on the Opal Finance main straight. Looking good for a restart next time by, with Sinagra and Dimmick starting from the front row.
73 on our screen. Jeff Ross coming up as a disqualification as well, by the way. So we'll see if that is indeed the case as the cars roll themselves into their positions right now, getting set to try and restart here for heat number 1 of the Formula 500. Straight after this, it is heat time. Well, we have the opening ceremony, but then it's heat time. The last chance almost for a lot of cars in the High Limit International. We know that we've got 4 cars already locked into the dash, which will determine the placings of the top 8 cars in our 35-lap $110,000 to the winner feature. 2 Aussies, 2 Americans in that dash already. And as Matt Nolte said before, the lead cars in each of the heats, we've got 2 Australians and 2 Americans in that as well. So the Australians definitely holding their own as the Formula 500s get into the back straight, about to get going once again.
Confirming it was the 73 that was caught up in that first lap moment. So apologies to Mears. It was definitely the Ross car that's been pulled to the infield. And here we go. Take 2 of the Formula 500s.
Snagger on the inside and Dimmick on the outside. So we have a look at the drone cam up above. And Sinagra, pretty decent start from him. Right round the outside, Dimmick trying to hold with him and manages to hold the lead. How about the fight coming through here? This could be the 23 of Glenn Mears who's coming through. Further back in the field, there is a swarm of cars as they enter the front straight. Great start, David Sinagra, who's the 80 car, who's come into 3rd spot, now into 2nd up ahead. While further back, you've got Brendan Marshman, you've got Debbie Garland, also Cody Taracchio, who's also made up a whole bunch of ground in the early part.
Tough conditions. They haven't even had a chance to look at this track tonight. Getting down to business with a setup that's probably going to be a bit weird for the first couple of laps. It's Dimmick from House, Sinagra, Brendan Marshman, Cody Taracchio in 5th. Back to Garland, Shane Anderson and Glenn Carstairs all inside that top 10. Car stopped on the exit of turn 4. They're electing to keep this race going for now. It's off the racetrack enough here.
Yeah, that's what the officials are saying for the time being. As Chris Dimmick has scooted away, already about a second clear. Fastest car on track, though, is Cody Taracchio. You can see him just on the right of screen, making his way past David Sinagra and moves himself into 3rd spot, which is no big surprise. He is a real hard charger, this guy.
Field spreads out now. Lap cars not too far away here from perhaps playing a part. Look at Taracchio heading down into turn 3. Schlam turn 3. But it's Dimmick that continues to lead by just over 1.2 seconds on the previous lap. House runs next. Taracchio, Sinagra and Marshman. The top 5. It's a good battle pack brewing here for 2nd and 3rd.
Cody Taracchio has been in 4 feature events this season and has won all 4 as he gets right onto the inside there of Mark House's wheel, then swings up to the outside down the Opal Finance front straight. Having a bit of dramas getting past Mark House at the moment. Down the Triple M back straight. Maybe he's going to look to the concrete. No, he has to dive back inside. And this time he gets the move done. Maybe a bit of help with a slower car on the outside of House. And that allows Taracchio to get into 2nd.
So Dimmick on the final lap now on the Triple M back straight with 2 seconds back to Taracchio and House. That'll be how they'll stay in 2nd and 3rd position. Great drive with that restart. And the 12 will win the first race of the night here at the Perth Motorplex, the Formula 500s. Taracchio setting the fastest lap on the race on the final lap, ahead of House, Sinagra and Marshman inside that top 5. They're looking for where the 2 made it back up into 10th position, even with that wing damage for Stephen Ellerman at the end of the first heat race. The Formula 500s here tonight supporting High Limit International. Congratulations to Chris Dimmick.
Good performance from him. Cody Taracchio, by the way, started 16th, got up to 2nd, so that's a pretty impressive performance from him. There was the incident where we saw the 75 car of Glenn Mears getting into the side of Stephen Ellerman on the restart. It's all about whether the 12 car of Dimmick could get around the outside. Eventually he would. Further back, there was so much going on. Debbie Garland and also Brendan Marshman were involved, and then Cody Taracchio started to find some groove and managed to pass cars at will. In the last sort of 2 or 3 laps, it was all about can he get past Mark House to get himself the 2nd position and the points there. And he managed to do that well, with a little bit of a struggle, but managed to get past. But Chris Dimmick, very, very good from him. He takes out the heat win, helping us out during the Formula 500s tonight in field and dressed beautifully in red. The Red Baron has returned, has he, Chris? It is Chris Mitchell with us.
Red Baron with the bow tie as well, gents. Thank you. As we get into your
first... better be spinning too, by the way.
Well, I couldn't really figure out the string attachment. It's all too complex for me. I'm not Matt Nolte out at the casino on a Friday night. But Chris Dimmick, our first visitor to Victory Lane. Chris, a win to start off the night here in the Opal Finance Formula 500s. How cool is it to do it in front of this ripper crowd?
Yeah, man, this is awesome. Obviously, massive congratulations to High Limits and the Motorplex for putting this deal on. Seeing this crowd here is wicked. Yeah, first of all, I just want a really big thank you to Jamie Pages and Three Springs IGA for giving me the chance to run this car tonight. And yeah, we're looking forward to a good night.
And now help me paint the picture for a lot of our friends who are watching live on Flow who might be gearing up to watch some of the Tulsa shootout right now. We call these Formula 500s. They're called micros throughout America. These are not really any different to what we'll be racing in Tulsa starting tomorrow, will they?
No, so these are very similar to like an outlaw spec micro. The only difference is we have to run 600cc and we can't have in-cab adjustable shocks. Apart from that, yeah, exactly the same as what you're about to see 900 or whatever there is at Tulsa.
Too many of them for my count. 26 in a heat race. Chris Dimmick is your first winner of the night here on night 3 of the High Limit International. He takes out the first heat for the Opal Finance Formula 500s.
It does it nicely. Thanks, Chris Mitchell, down there. We'll see you at the casino later tonight, my friend. Chad Nalon has made his way down into the pit lane to catch up with a guy that had a very long night in the workshop last night.
The Merger Motorsport team and Chris Coyle have been the talk of the paddock in the last 24 hours to get this car back in this state, completely different car. Wow, what a night and day you guys have had.
Yeah, it was a hell of a ride last night, that's for sure. And yeah, obviously after the first night, we tweaked the frame just a tiny bit. So we jumped into our spare car the second night, and then obviously, yeah, made a mess of that last night. So the boys have worked all night, pretty much all morning, all afternoon, and yeah, we're here with a third car on the third day. Not what we had in mind, but yeah, we're here, we're smiling, we're lacking of sleep, but we're here, we're having fun.
So was it 7 a.m. last night they finally pulled up stumps?
Yeah, so my brother, it was his birthday yesterday too, crew chief Jono, so he was up all night, all morning. He's had about an hour of sleep this morning and straight back into it. So yeah, the girls escorted me home last night. I was under strict instructions there, so just to make sure I was okay. I was a little bit banged up, so but no, feeling good this morning. And yeah, we finished off the car this morning and went out hot lap. I think we're 4th or 5th in our group, so yeah, it's a good sign so far.
How much would it mean to you to repay this team tonight with a good result?
Yeah, everything. Like, it's just been a bit of an uphill battle. So we're coming from 7th in our heat, so hopefully we can move up a couple of spots there and get locked into the A. Want to try and miss the B, that's for sure. So, but yeah, obviously got to thank Scott, everyone at Merger Contracting for the opportunity. My brother Jono, it's his birthday as well yesterday, so pulled a late one. But yeah, just obviously very thankful for the opportunity, and High Limit, the Motorplex, everything they do for this sport. It's a great show tonight. Plenty of fans. We sold heaps of merch. Like, yeah, having a ball.
All right, we'll keep an eye on the 79 tonight. Can we see Chris Coyle get straight through that A? It'd be a huge story.
Yeah, let's hope they have a better night. Thank you, Chad Nalon, part of our commentary team here tonight. That is the High Limit International for the cable cam down at Turn 1. Give yourself a wave. You're going right around the world here on High Limit. We're going to squeeze a quick break in. When we come back, it's time to go racing here at the Motorplex.
Hey Dan, just going to need some front pads for a 2023 Subaru WRX. I'm just going up on the hoist now. How quickly can you get it to me?
Yeah, we've got them in stock. We'll get it to you straight away.
Here you go. Oh, thanks. All sorted.
All good, Pete. Talk to you soon. First Auto Parts, Dan speaking. Oh, hey Claire, what can I do for you today? Yes, the part is in stock. We'll get it to your workshop straight away.
With over 1,200 cars on the roads each day and more than 215 stores around the country, you're guaranteed to get what you need when you need it. Because at Burson, we'll get it sorted.
At Maddington Toyota, we're all about great deals, value, quality and service. Head to our website for quality new, demo and pre-owned vehicles with videos so you can find your perfect car. We can organise the details by phone and email and deliver the car right to you. Check out the entire Toyota range, plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all backed by our real commitment to great service. Maddington Toyota, great deals and great service. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Hey mates, ready to power up your career with EGT? As a proud sponsor of West Australian Motorsport, we put you on track for success. With EGT, you learn real skills that supercharge real careers. Our apprenticeships in electrical trades are hands-on, so you start working and earning faster. Join us today and get the best of both worlds. Great training and support. Don't just dream about success, race to it with EGT. Visit egt.net.au supercharge your career.
This is it, the Barbagallo Australian Sprint Car National at Perth Motorplex. 2 huge nights, Friday and Saturday. USA stars in Australia is right here. History making, the best of the best. Mr. Sprint Car glory up for grabs. $40,077 to win. Monster Barbers has more cars racing and Australia's best speedway. It doesn't get much better than this. The Barbagallo Sprint Car National. Grab them, Mr. Sprint Car Supercar. Motorplex.com.au. Go! Be there!
Experts in tools for tradies. If you've got the job, we've got the tool. We won't be beaten on low prices. Total Tools. Totally sorted.
Fast February is all about the festival of sprint cars. 5 massive nights of racing in 9 days. The Barbagallo Australian Mr. Sprint Car National. The performance race gear, midweek mayhem. The Total Tools Rocky and Pretty Boy Shootout. The nation's best drivers, plus the USA Top Guns. Motorplex.com.au.
Continue to get better, so excited for the fans and all the action that we have to come. Yeah, if I could explain the standard of the drivers that are going to be here in this.
Talk about racing for a lot of money on the line tonight, but here at the High Limit International, everyone on the infield right now, there's one thing on our minds, and that is ice cream. It's been a bit of a warm day, and I felt that with this big red suit draped over my shoulders, but the ice cream guy has made his way out onto the infield. Laurie is even going to get in line. Even Rod's pushing me out of the way. Hey, I'm in the queue, man. Tony's got an ice cream. You got yours. Tony Laporta's even jamming that one in. How good is it, mate?
Charlie Cutter, our full-time medic with High Limit Racing, went straight to the front of the line. I saw him knock over several short people, but it was really just Chris. And he made sure to deliver me my second ice cream cone, and this is actually the second ice cream cone I've been delivered today. I had the unfortunate luck of getting caught in a conversation with Toby Balboa of Sprint Car Hub earlier, and Sean Caron, the car owner on Brock Ziervoss's number 95. Sean Caron, just a friend of everybody here in Australian sprint car racing. He went and got me an ice cream cone, brought it to me, tried to rescue me from talking to Toby for too long, but it's been Sean Caron and then Charlie Cutter hooking me up with ice cream. Chase, I don't know if I really want to leave Western Australia. I hate to say it, but you're not having any ice cream up there at all, are you? It's got to be hard for you to watch, Chase, I imagine.
Actually, I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going quite good up here.
That's an
It's the
erotic.
worst impersonation of those noises I've heard ever.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That might be an erotic sound. I don't know if we can do much more of that.
Chris is back in for number 3 already.
Yeah, you guys would be amazed how quick he gets up to that window. I haven't seen him move that quick all weekend.
While they're getting ready for the ice creams, we're getting ready for the big event. It's time to get this show started.
We acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people as the traditional owners of the land which our venue stands. We pay our respects to the elders, past, present and emerging.
Hi everyone and welcome to Perth Motorplex. This venue is recognised as one of the finest of its kind anywhere in the world. Part of what makes this place so special is our focus on safety. So please take a moment to listen carefully. The Motorplex is located near industrial areas that deal with hazardous substances. While the risk to us here is very low, in the unlikely event of an emergency, it's important you follow all instructions given over the PA system and super screens. If an evacuation is required, you'll be directed either back to your vehicles or, if you don't have a vehicle, to the designated safe areas around the venue. If you are returning to your vehicle, please follow all instructions when leaving the premises. And, if possible, tune into Motorplex 98.8 FM. As always, a reminder that motorsport is dangerous, as noted at the venue entry and on the back of your ticket. The action can also get loud and sudden, so earplugs and earmuffs are available from the merchandise shop. For your comfort and enjoyment, smoking and vaping are not permitted in spectator areas. If you need to smoke or vape, please use the 2 designated areas located on the top thoroughfares. Speedway racing is raw, intense and thrilling. It's all about driver skill, bravery and the perfect car setup. And right here, you're looking at a speedway oval track regarded by drivers worldwide as one of the very best. Get ready for speed, big slide jobs and plenty of racing lines. And don't forget, all ticket holders are welcome to head into the pit paddock area between events to meet the teams, check out the cars up close and feel the atmosphere behind the scenes. Make sure you follow us on socials and check in tonight. Share your experience here at Perth Motorplex. If you wish to tune in to track commentary, you can follow the Perth Motorplex page on the My Race Pass app or 98.8 FM. We hope you, your family and your mates have an awesome night. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand, remove your headwear and join us for the blessing of tonight's racing by our track chaplain.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to day number 3 here at the High Limits at the amazing Perth Motorplex, the home of motortainment here in WA, and I'm going to suggest in Australia as well. It is so good to have you back, and I'm sure many of you have been here for the 3, even the 4 days since Boxing Day. So let me take my hat off metaphorically to you. Thank you so much for supporting Speedway Motorsport here at the Perth Motorplex. It's because of you that we can do what we do, and of course because of the wonderful people here volunteering, giving of their time, that we can put on such a great show. So once again, why don't we put our hands together for the staff, the volunteers and all the people out in front here before the event even commences. And of course, for those watching at home on FloRacing, let me recommend highly that if you can, to plan ahead for next year, get yourself a ticket, book some accommodation and get down to the Perth Motorplex. You will not regret it. We've got one of the greatest cities in the world here in WA and you will absolutely love it. And I know for a fact that Laurie and Chuck have already booked their accommodation for next year, so get on board. Or you can join us, of course, on FloRacing once again. Please join us, ladies and gentlemen, as we pray this evening. Father, we thank you that you are here with us first and foremost, and I'm reminded of that saying that the family that prays together stays together, an old saying from way back in the day, but I'm so aware of just the fact that we get to pray here and to open it. It is truly a privilege, and I thank you that there's a presence here that is just something beyond ourselves, and we know that we can trust for safety and for a good night's racing. We thank you for every person here and all the people behind the scenes perhaps that don't get the recognition, who pour out their time and energy and make this event and this facility so wonderful. And we thank you for the fans who continue to come through the gates and support this amazing sport and the amazing place that we have here at the Perth Motorplex. So we ask for your blessing tonight on the drivers, on the crews, on every person that's walked through the gates, and we thank you for them, asking your blessing in all things in Jesus' name. Amen. And would you please remain standing as we welcome Martina to sing the US and Australian national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Well, Perth Motorplex, what do you think of that? We're getting closer to going sprint car racing here with High Limit International. Sounds like we'll have a few visitors from the sky making their way down here very, very shortly. Night number 3 of High Limit International, $110,000 set to be awarded to the first driver across the finish line at the end of tonight's main event. The ice cream truck's still quite busy down here in the infield. A very fun thing that they do here at Perth Motorplex for everybody to come and enjoy themselves down in the infield. It seems like a bit of a nice treat for the staff, the infield workers here. You've got your track officials, as well as the Perth Motorplex staff, safety and medical. Everybody gets a sweet little treat down here. Chris Mitchell, that was your nickname in high school, wasn't it?
I didn't finish high school, though. I had to drop out after that.
I didn't want to bring it up, but thanks for being honest with everybody.
It's good, though, and it's great for so many of our officials and volunteers. They've been out here slaving away in the sun, many working well into the very early hours of the morning to turn the track around each night after racing. Just a little sweet treat to reward them and sweeten them up a little before the final nights of High Limit.
I wish I could get some ice cream to sweeten up Chase Rodman when we're back home in the States. He's always picking on me. And
too cold for ice cream back where you going, though.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm usually sour.
I've never had Chase. Have you ever been anywhere where it's too cold for ice cream? I don't think that's a thing.
No, we've had ice cream when it's very cold. I can just tell you from High Limit this year, plenty of cold ice creams.
Plenty of cold ice creams. It's certainly better than warm ice creams. That's definitely the case. Look at that. We're taking a look at the plane. Have our divers jumped yet? I'm not sure.
Tony, I think we're going to have multiple different forms of visitors from the sky.
Oh, yes, foreshadowing, Chase, foreshadowing. Yep. You've set up the rest of these opening ceremonies very well. Yes, the Skydivers either are on their way or shortly will be, but they are not the only gift from the heavens above will be presented with here in the opening ceremonies.
Hey, you got that right, Tony, but stay tuned as the ice cream truck continues on. Maybe these skydivers can just land right on top of the ice cream truck and then get themselves a little something before. And here we go. There they are on the screen. If you're here at the Motorplex, take a look at the big screen in turn number 1. You can see them making their way down, smoke trailing behind, and they will be, I'm guessing, landing on the front stretch.
Now,
Chase,
the
backstretch, sorry.
Now, Chase, is it true that you asked to be one of the jumpers and introduce the night from the sky? Did you ask to be involved in this, yes or no? Be honest.
I did, but they didn't give me, the clearance to do it because I don't have my skydiving license in Australia like I do in America.
Ah, yes, those technicalities, those fussy technicalities. That is dramas. That I'll tell you this, if you're watching for these skydivers, don't do what I'm doing, standing up and leaning back as far as you can. Hold on to something if you're trying to locate these skydivers, because not only is it a great way to get dizzy, it's a great way to fall over, and I will not admit if I have fallen over already or not, looking up to the sky for these skydivers. That's redundancy, I think, right there.
Now, here they come, and, I mean, these guys, they're pretty impressive, Dan. I mean, they come in hot, and they're able to, back her down and land like nothing ever happened.
And the accuracy that we've seen from the skydivers, especially the last couple of years that we've had them, is quite impressive. You can see there are a couple of skydivers there, one with the Australian flag, a couple that have the green and gold ribbon right trailing behind them. So there is going to be a very, very large Australian flag that is going to be parking up down the back straight here at the Perth Motorplex. As we said, it's sort of a good thing they haven't done the skydiving the last few nights. Very, very strong winds that we had, especially Boxing Night and also on the 28th. It's died down a little bit over the last couple of days or so. And if anything, it's quite nice weather, actually, that is going to be greeting them down here at ground level here at the Perth Motorplex.
Now,
that is a massive flag, by the way.
Yeah, now, Tony, you are a skydiving expert. What is that secondary parachute behind the main one there? Can you fill us in?
They call that a safety chute. That's the jargon on that, Chase. That's a safety chute or just a safety. That's the shorthand for it in the biz. But that's keen of you to notice that. That's how I can tell you really are you're keeping your eyes open and watching this. Bad news, Chase. I just got a text from Brad Sweet as he will not be competing full-time next year with High Limit Racing. He has said that this will be a nightly feature of our competitions next year, so I hope you are ready to get your safety chute. Look at this, folks. Wow. Here they come. Make some noise. They can hear you. Wow. That individual came in much faster than I expected. That was very scary.
Now watch out, Tony. You definitely don't want to get in front of that guy. Here comes another one. He's going to make a 180 corkscrew turn.
I think they're wearing shorts. I do not know if this is OSHA approved.
Definitely getting a nice breeze. As here he comes. And
perfect landing.
I mean,
just about.
It doesn't get any better than that.
That looks like, Chase, sometimes when you get out of the hotel in the morning and you come downstairs, that's kind of like the speed and the grace you seem to move with.
Yeah, like walking on air, man.
Is that what you're going to be doing at 5 a.m. tomorrow when you're boarding the flight?
Yeah, I'm going to be looking just like that.
Well, at 5 a.m., I hope he has boarded because I believe that's when the airplane goes up in the sky. Yeah. Yeah, Chase, this will be exciting. Brad says we're going to do this every night next year starting in Las Vegas. And you remember the weather in Vegas last March, so this will be pretty seasonable. I think if you do this and you help out and you jump from the sky, you're going to need some sweatpants on. I would not recommend shorts. I've seen your legs. They need a tan.
I mean, that is going to be a great feature for our fans that go to these races next year, if that is indeed correct. You mentioned Vegas. Don't forget to get your tickets right now if you're watching back in the States, or maybe you're making your way over here from Australia. Las Vegas Motor Speedway Dirt Track, 3 nights the first weekend for High Limit next year, and then right after that, 3 nights at the Central Arizona Raceway as well. Those tickets are available right now on HighLimitRacing.com as the Aussie flag is about to make its way onto the backstretch here at Perth Motorplex.
Of course, compared to what the other two were jumping with just a couple of streamers behind them, this is a large figure just starting to drift down onto the Perth Motorplex, trying to find the right angle in. But it is a spectacular sight that we have here on final night of High Limit International. Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian flag coming down at Perth Motorplex.
At least he didn't need to use that safety chute, right, Tony?
That's how you can tell he knows what he's doing. No safety chute needed. Oh, he's got a buddy coming with him. Keep the noise going. Everybody knows you should skydive with a friend. And that is what they just did here in pairs at the Perth Motorplex. You never jump out of a plane at 7,000 plus feet without a friend, Chase. I've told you that from the day we started working together, and you just saw why, didn't you?
I did. I really did. We had an onboard shot there from one of those guys. So, I mean, pulling out all the stops here on board with the Skydivers, that is pretty impressive.
I think Gavin Mygrove's in the running for Australia's Humpy Wheeler promoter status. Humpy Wheeler, a fantastic and world-famous promoter of so many of NASCAR's biggest events in the Southeast for a very, very long time. And Chase, you alluded to it earlier, those skydivers bringing the Australian flag aren't our only visitors from the sky, folks. Well, if you're on the front stretch, wait a moment. It's about to make its way around through turns 1 and 2, but we have one more special delivery about to make its way into the infield.
We certainly do, and we'll tell you who it is, as there is the helicopter that delivered Kyle Larson on Sunday night as the defending High Limit International champion.
Chase, I don't think we should tell him. I think we should let people be surprised when the doors open and be greeted with the knowledge of who's aboard that helicopter.
Oh, we can see him from the camera. He's getting a Snapchat going there. New Snap story coming for the co-pilot there as he's making his way in on the back straightaway.
Is that the one and only? Do we introduce him? Can you see him that clearly?
Oh, we can see him nice and clear. You can see his smile from here.
It is. That's him, ladies and gentlemen, your high point man from 2 nights of preliminary action here at High Limit International from Clovis, California, and now the skies of Western Australia. Here he is, Payday, Cory Day!
The High Point man from 2 nights of action at High Limit International making a grand appearance on the back straightaway as Cory Day, after a win and a 4th place result, has found himself at the top of the charts with High Limit International climb out the side of the helicopter. And man, it looks like nothing ever happened. This is just a normal thing for Cory Day.
Well, I think that's how he normally gets to and from races these days. You know, he is becoming an up-and-coming star in the NASCAR world. Perth Motorplex, he can hear you. He's out of the chopper. Make some noise for Cory Day!
Absolutely magnificent entrance for our High Point man.
Chase, that's got to be familiar for you. That's how you used to get to high school every day, isn't it?
Yep, they had a helicopter pad and everything for me.
Yeah, the difference was the helicopter had a picture of your face on it, man. Gavin Migro pulling out all the stops here. Cory Day is going to come over and talk to us. He's got the Perth Motorplex ambassadors with him, and I've got some questions. Chase, I'm sure you do too. I want to know what that helicopter was like. One more time, front stretch. Here he is, your High Point man, Cory Day! Brother, this is like the 6th time you and I have talked today with a microphone involved, but you've never shown up to the interview via a helicopter. Tell me, what was that like?
Yeah, that was super cool. I've never got to ride in a helicopter before, so that was awesome. That was something I've always wanted to do, and yeah, what a way to do it.
Man, Gavin Migro, Perth Motorplex, High Limit, they just make dreams come true every which way they possibly can. They just come up to you and say, hey, you've earned the most points through 2 nights of racing. We want to take you. I mean, that's a long walk from the pit area down here. So, what was it? Just jump on our chopper, we'll get you down into the infield?
Yeah, pretty much. They just wanted to make life a little easier for me.
Well, that's good. I don't want you sweating too hard out there. Hey, $110,000 are on the line tonight. You've won Gold Cup Race of Champions time and time again. You've stood on some of the biggest stages in sprint car racing, but you're doing it for the first time down under here in Western Australia. First off, what's this weekend been like for you, from traveling to getting down here to learning the area, learning the track, learning the car? What's it been like? I imagine it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's all been a super quick process. We got here on, my girlfriend Ashley and I got here on Christmas Day, and yeah, just hung out for a day and then went racing. So yeah, it's been super cool. I love Australia. It's been a lot of fun to learn the area and meet all the people, and the whole Williams Motorsports team's been just great to Ashlyn and I, and especially they've done such a great job with the race car, and it's just a blessing to be able to come all the way across the world to race for such great people and drive such a fast car. So yeah, just a big thanks to them. Big thanks to all you fans for making us Americans feel at home. It's the track you got here is it's a gem for sure. We're super fortunate to be able to come race at it.
The Australians certainly have made all of us Americans feel quite welcome. So let's just get down to business right now. There's a lot of people. Everybody up there has come to see who will leave here with $110,000. I've seen a lot of Australians in number 3 Cory Day shirts. You've done a great job winning the hearts of a lot of these fans over. They want to know, can you do it? Can you win and leave here with $110,000 and be the 2nd ever champion of High Limit International?
Yeah, I think so. We put ourselves in a really good spot, and I feel super confident in my car. And the track's been really good these past 3 nights I've raced at it, so I don't expect anything less. So yeah, on any given night, I feel like it can be your night if everything falls into place. And I feel like we've done everything we can to put ourselves in that spot.
You got anything to say to what was Callum's corner but may very quickly become Cory's corner over there in turn 1? You got anything for your friends over there?
Yeah, you guys are awesome. It's super cool every time I get to roll out there and hear you guys making noise over there. So yeah, and thanks to all you fans as well. It's been a fun time for sure.
Well, as soon as we mention them, they start making all that noise. They couldn't hear the nice things you said about them, but that's even more reason to go home and watch the replay on FloRacing. Last question, if you can get the victory here tonight, you think you can give me a ride to the airport in the morning on your chopper?
I don't know. We might be able to arrange that. I'll see what I can do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the American, the Californian, the High Point earner, Cory Day!
And hasn't he won some fans over the last week here at High Limit International? Callum's Corner, the Williamson Fan Cup, down there in turn number 1. They're getting excited, we're getting excited. And when we come back, we go heat racing, night 3 of High Limit International. We'll be back.
tonight is Speedway Night. A battle of the nations over 2 huge nights. American Top Guns, Rachel, Velocito, Ziafos and Whittle taking on Australian champion McFadden, Kingshot and Williamson on our home track. All-out winged warfare. Stars in their cars, wheel to wheel, wing to wing. Swing with speed with powered by Totally Workwear. Bring your mates, bring the Americans. Grab your tickets. Motorplex.com.au. You'll be there.
At Maddington Toyota, we're all about great deals, value, quality and service. Head to our website for quality new, demo and pre-owned vehicles with videos so you can find your perfect car. We can organise the details by phone and email and deliver the car right to you. Check out the entire Toyota range, plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all backed by our real commitment to great service. Maddington Toyota, great deals and great service. Oh, what a feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to live coverage of High Limit International night number 3 from the Perth Motorplex here in Western Australia. We wanted to do a quick hit before we go back upstairs for tonight's starting lineups because we had a great majority, I feel like, of the staff here at Perth Motorplex assembled here on the stage in Victory Lane, led, of course, by Gavin Migro. The staff here in the infield was getting some photos taken. It is just such an incredible group of people that make this place run. Obviously, it's not just this one weekend out of the year when High Limit comes to town. The Perth Motorplex puts on big events all the time. That's how Dane Kingshot described it to me. He said this place doesn't really have small meetings anymore. Chase, I know you and I talked about it during High Limit Room up on the fan stage a little while ago. I wish we could have gotten a live shot of some of those folks here getting a photo together. But Gavin and his staff here, they are just second to none. You and I are very fortunate we get to go all across the United States and work with so many amazing facilities, promoters, track owners, and track staff. And Perth Motorplex is right there neck and neck with the very best of the best in the United States. It's not just the facility, it's the people that make Perth Motorplex what it is. From the seats in the grandstands being filled by fantastic fans, to the hardworking men and women who make this racetrack so great. Perth Motorplex fans, if you love this racetrack and you want to thank the people who work so hard for you, would you please let them hear you right here and right now? Make some noise for the staff. Chase, Matt, we have got sprint cars on track. It's all over but the shouting. We are ready to go heat racing here for night 3 in the finale of High Limit International.
Here we go. 4 heat races on tap, 8 laps in distance. The top 4 going to the feature, the winner going to the dash. It's Rise Electric heat race number 1. And your pole sitter for this one out of Kwinana, Western Australia, the Dasco Supply number 71 of Caden Manders will be on the pole. Next to him, the defending High Limit Racing International Champion, it's Kyle Larson, Rail Grove, California, in the Schlam number 1K. Inside of row number 2 from Lemoore, California, the Napa Auto Parts number 60, it's Carson Macedo. And to his outside from Midland, WA, the Colonial Freight Lines number 9 of AJ Nash. Starting inside of row number 3 in the 5th position from Vincenttown, New Jersey, it's the RBH Group number 21 of Justin Whittall. To his outside in car number 74 out of Bouvard, Western Australia, in the West State Civil Entry, it's Mikey Green. Starting in 7th, a brand new car after the crash last night, it'll be Chris Coyle in car number 79. He's from Canningvale, WA, in the Merger Contracting Entry. To his outside, starting in the 8th position from Kalgoorlie, Western Australia, the Totally Workwear of Midland number 25, it's Taylor Milling. Inside of row number 5, ninth starter, that'll be Matthew Cross. He's out of Secret Harbor, Western Australia, and the Adamson Cross number 94. And the final starter for this first heat race is Miles Bolger in car number 13 from Serpentine, Western Australia, in the Ablett Mechanical number 13.
Heat number 1, thanks to Rise Electrics, who are your number 1 electricians in the Peel and Perth region that you can trust. A family-run business with over 90 years of combined experience and expertise. Our electricians are highly qualified. Rise Electrics offers all home and businesses a reliable service for all your electrical needs. Go to riseelectrics.com.au for more information.
And so the scene is set. 2 qualifying nights in the books and now 4 heat races to get it sorted. Of course, our top 4 will get a chance here very, very soon to get some heat into their engines very, very soon. We won't see them until the dash. It's a quiet night for the 4 of arguably the best of the last week here in the West. Between get this field formed up. First 4 go into the A main tonight direct. The winner makes it into the dash to join those 4 on the infield. Chase Rodman, we're moments away.
So you're going to want to get first place like you never have before here in this heat race. Usually, hey, you know, if I win the heat or if I start 4th, I'm usually a good qualifier. That means I'm going to make the dash if I'm in the top 5. That's not the case tonight. You have to win this heat race to be a part of the dash and guaranteed to start within the first 4 rows of tonight's finale. Caden Manders, who has been very, very good these first 2 nights, 7th and 2nd are his 2 finishes, and then Kyle Larson 17th and 5th, his 2 finishes from the front row. Carson Macedo starting towards the front in this one, Matt. He has been a hard charger all weekend. Both features he's had to come forward. He's been starting towards the tail, but maybe he has a chance here to get up here and challenge for the lead.
Spare a thought for AJ Nash, surrounded by all these superstars around him on the 2nd row. Hey, Western Australia, I want you to make some noise. Are you ready to go racing? Let's hear you out there. We sure are. Wish them well from the international superstars on the front row. Green.
Caden Manders, a good jump on Kyle Larson. They get very close in the corner. Larson nearly gets put in the wall. Is going to get passed by the number 60 of Carson Macedo. He gets back by him into turn number 3, but a very close call, an aggressive maneuver by Caden Manders to have the race lead on lap number 1.
First 4 make it through. It's Manders, Larson, Macedo and Nash. Justin Whittle runs back in 5th with Miles Bolger getting swallowed up now by 2 cars on the back straight. Here comes Macedo on the inside of Kyle Larson, who repays the favour out of turn 4.
Carson Macedo, a big slider on his former car owner, a good friend. Another slider coming in turn number 2. Macedo tags the cushion, nearly tags the wall. Larson gets back by him. AJ Nash still sitting in that 4th position in the final transfer spot. He is trailed by the 21 of Justin Whittle and the 25 of Taylor Milling. Run the race for 2nd, still a good one.
Macedo not done with Larson yet through Maddington Toyota turn 2 and down the back straight. AJ Nash staying with his group of cars as well. But Caden Manders comes by the Opal Finance main straight. But he has behind us. Nash and dramas again for Whittle. It's a left rear drama on the 9, and Miles Bolger spins to avoid all of them. And contact down here in the bottom turn.
I'm not sure if Nash had a problem before he spun, if that tire had blown, or if something else had happened. We'll take a look at the replay here. I believe it was contact between him and Justin Whittle battling for that transfer spot. Nash is, yes, the left rear just blew.
And it forced Whittle into him, and more collision in the background there. Driving away from the scene of the crime, and Miles Bolger spun at the last moment to avoid making contact with both the stationary cars. So the tyre had gone by this point. Whittle, and again Taylor Milling caught up in this. And Milling kissed the car, then kissed the wall and drove away from turn number 4. Miles Bolger will be good to go, just spinning the Trey Lee Hay number 13. But a blown left tyre on the Colonial Freightline's Castrol number 9 of AJ Nash brings us under caution here on lap number 5.
And you hate to see that after he's made the show both nights straight through the heat race, and he was going to do it again here before this incident, Tony.
Well, you do hate to see that, Chase. You hate to see any driver have any misfortune whatsoever, and for those 3 guys to be sitting, some of them facing the wrong direction and just stationary over their turn 4. And you talked about it, right? How important are these heat races? You have to finish the top 4 if you want to guarantee to go racing later tonight. But it's those drivers' misfortune that I think you could certainly say turns in to Kyle Larson's good fortune. Kyle and Carson Macedo, well, they were back there playing patty cake for the first 2-3 laps, racing each other, sliding all over the track for the 2nd position. It was an entertaining race, no doubt about that. But like you said in the lead up to this heat race, Chase, you are going to want to win more than you've ever wanted to win a heat race before, because the higher up you finish in these heats, the closer you are to those front rows of tonight's $110,000 to win A main event. This could be exactly what Kyle Larson was looking for, and the exact opposite of what Caden Manders was looking for.
And Matt, I kind of want to double back to the very start of this race. I mean, Manders did not leave much room for error there. Came right across the grill of Kyle Larson there, and I mean, nearly put him into the concrete down there and put him in a really tough spot. That's what got him in that battle with Carson Macedo and allowed Caden to pull away. But now, with a restart with Coney out on the front straightaway, Larson has a chance to try and redeem himself here.
So remember, winner goes straight into the dash. Top 4 into the A main. Got a feel for AJ Nash. He was 17th in the points coming into tonight's competition. Not messing around here tonight. The Motorplex with Manders. He'll feel Kyle Larson breathing down his neck at the restart. And the 1K goes straight after that 71.
Not going to make the pass there, and Larson's going to have to really get after it here if he wants to make another charge at him. 4 in and 4 to go. Kyle runs a slider line in turns 3 and 4. That'll allow Carson Mosquito to close back in as Taylor Milling, after that disaster in the B main last night, running out of fuel. Oh, Mikey Green's in the wall. He'll clean the wall off and keep on going.
Just he'll fall behind a car. It's dramas for
Manders,
our leader.
left
Manders
rear.
has popped a tyre. What is going on out there tonight? The race leader has popped a tyre. And we've also got green around. It's going to go yellow. And our second left rear tyre has gone. And it's for the race leader.
What?
The script is starting to be written.
What is going on here? A left rear tire on 2 separate cars in one race. That is not something you see very often, and Manders is going to surrender into the infield.
Oh my.
And there's only going to be about 2 laps to go to finish this thing off.
Yeah, you would typically get 1 minute up till halfway for the tire, for a flat or a blown tire. But as this late in the race, no guaranteed time provided here, so Manders done.
Yeah, he's taking the gloves off. Here's a look at the replay for Mikey Green. Yep. You see him scrape the wall in turn 2. He had damage. You could see him swerving all over the place down the backstretch with something broken. And as this was happening was when Manders was getting that flat tire.
But just up the road was where Manders' tyre went in turn 3. Same spot as what we saw. It's not a tyre issue. There's a lot of grip on that tyre, but not anymore.
I was going to say that was far from a flat tire,
Chase.
Chase.
I was about to say,
that thing exploded. I know you guys had your eyes on the incident going on a little bit farther back. I was watching Manders go down the straightaway. I mean, that thing just exploded. That was a huge failure on the left rear of Manders. Very fortunate. Not like there's ever a good place for that to happen, but man, at least it was on the straightaway.
Man, and that's a tough thing to see right there. He has been very, very impressive these last 2 nights, and that is going to promote Kyle Larson to the top spot. And there is,
That's the exit of turn 2. That tyre exploded out of Maddington to turn 2, and he limped that car down the back straight. The man who led this race and was staring down the barrel of not just the A main, but a start in the dash is on the infield.
And he's going to have to come out of the B main and do it from pretty far back in that B main, I might add, as Carson Macedo is now going to have an opportunity. We've already seen him pass Kyle Larson a few times throughout this heat, so he's going to have a great opportunity to start on his back bumper. Taylor Milling now 3rd, and Chris Coyle, who was up until what time this morning to get this car put back together. This would be a great, a great thing for him and that team to make it into the feature after all their troubles.
Collective 1 hour sleep for the team as they rebuild a brand new car, and he's rewarding them with 4th position. And in the show, as the surviving 6 come back to the green, headed by the reigning champ and the High Limit International. Kyle Larson leads us into turn 1. Macedo 2nd, Milling and Coyle in 3rd and 4th position. Cross and Bolger have to get on with it if they want to make the show tonight.
Matthew Cross going to make the move on Miles Bolger for the 5th position off of turn number 4, and Bolger will cross him up down the front straightaway, looking to take that spot back away, and he will indeed do so as Larson pulls away from Carson Macedo. He'll come around to the checker this time by Larson wins heat race number 1, Carson Macedo 2nd, Taylor Milling 3rd, and Chris Coyle Ford contact for 5th. Off of turn number 4, it goes to Matthew Cross.
And just getting Bolger there by 1/10 of a second, but it's Kyle Larson, folks. Locks himself into the dash, locks himself into the main. Macedo, Milling and Coyle will all join tonight's main event. And Larson's starting to sneak up on the field on the night that it counts in the 1K for Jason Pride Motorsport. What a heat race. AJ Nash suffers a left rear tyre failure. And then the race leader, Caden Manders, has the same drama coming out of turn 2. And this man parks himself nicely in victory lane, parks himself in the dash.
I forget who it was yesterday or the day before, but they said sometimes you got to be lucky in racing. Obviously, you got to be good, but and sometimes luck plays a huge factor, and that is indeed the case as to what just happened with our heat race number 1 winner for Rise Electrics. It is Kyle Larson getting the W. He will be in tonight's dash.
Rise Electrics heat race number 1. Surprisingly, maybe, goes to Kyle Larson. We haven't seen him down here on the bitumen after a heat race all weekend long. So now we're lucky to get to talk to him. He's going to grab the Rise Electrics heat number 1 win board. He'll get a photo with that right there. First heat race victory of the weekend. Kyle, when that happens and you see that left rear go out on Caden Manders up in front of you, we'd already had a left rear failure at the beginning of that heat race. Do you start to worry and begin to think about that? And just also, what was the view like watching that happen in front of you?
I seen it was a little bit low. under the caution right before his tire exploded. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I wasn't surprised, but yeah, good to get a gift there. So, yeah, my car, you know, in clean air right there, that last little run felt really good. So that's the first time I've been in clean air. So, yeah, it takes breaks like that to, you know, save your weekend a little bit. So hopefully we can, you know, get a good draw on this dash, go forward, and then try and get into that clean air and then be as good as we need to be.
A 17th on night number 1, followed by a 5th place finish last night. Remember, guys, Kyle did not have the best 2 preliminary nights 1 year ago, but he showed up when he had to score the victory on night number 3 as we get a look at Kyle Larson's left rear. Caden Manders, sounds like it was low early on in that heat race. That's the kind of stuff that a guy like Kyle Larson picks up. And man, heartbreak to see the guy who ran second back on night number 1 have that heat race slip through his fingers like that. But it sounds like he should be starting on the front row of tonight's B main based on his earlier performance.
So some work to do for him. Thank you, Tony Laporta, down on the infield. Our track crew, while you've been doing that, have just been scouring the back straight, looking for any potential debris that might be out there on the track. As we take a look at the grid, heat race number 2 on the final night of High Limit International. Brad Sweet starts on the pole in the Landrigan Motorsports, number 49. Alongside him in the Sean Curran 95. Fennell Tyres entry, Brock Zierfoss. Inside row 2 for Diamond Bay Motorsports, the 4-time Aussie champ, Kerry Madsen, has the 24 from California, Rico Abreu, for company on that second row. Jason Kendrick, who was strong in hot laps tonight, the Triple M 92.9 car, starts alongside Ryan Lancaster on row 3. Jai McKenzie, who's been a standout this week in this High Limit International Series, starts out of 7. Chad Pittard, the Bunbury Ram, number 92, starts alongside Cody Clayton. Let's hope they've solved those mechanical dramas aboard that number 40.
Heat 2, thanks to Rise Specialised Services, specialising in labour and equipment hire for quality electricians for your project requirements. A good spark is guaranteed. Go to rsswa.com.au and you can find them at 87 Reserve Drive in Mandurah.
There is Brad Sweet rolling around the racetrack. And car number 49 going to start right up front here in this one. Going to try and join Kyle Larson along with our 4 lock-in drivers in that dash later on.
Chase, just an update from Brian Walker back in the States running points for us here. Top 2 in points who do not transfer to the front row of the B main. So Manders will be on the pole position, it sounds like, as his point total from the 2 preliminary nights has definitely helped him recover from that blown left rear while leading this race. So all is not lost completely for the driver of the 71 to this point.
Leave it to Brian Walker at 5:49 a.m. back on the East Coast. He is still keeping us updated. So thank you for that. So Manders not out of, you know, he's still got some work to do, but not in too big of a trouble as we may have originally thought. So Sweet next to Zierfoss, Madsen and Abreu, Kendrick and Lancaster, then McKenzie and Pittard, and Clayton. The field for heat race number 2. We'll go green next time.
I got to talk to Brad Sweet back in the pit area before the night got going, guys, and he said that he actually had a lot of fun last night in that feature. Watched him mix it up with those young guys. That's how he described it. He said, I felt like I had a really, really great race car. He said that he thought he left some positions and some performance on the table. He joked about being the old guy mixing up with the young guns. He knows that he has a good car underneath him, and he is hungry. He says he has to make up for the mistakes he felt he made last night. Brad Sweet is going to have the bit between his teeth in this heat race and the rest of the night. Brad feels very, very positive about his race car.
Yep, told me last night he felt like he left some points on the table for this format. As we're coming to the chalk stripe in turn number 4, the green flag is out. It is Sweet, it is Zierfoss, and we are green down the front strip. And here comes Zierfoss trying to take the lead away in turn 1 there, Matt.
And does through Maddington Toyota turn 2. Kerry Madsen clears Abreu down the back straight. Full head of steam for the Diamond Bay 26. Zierfoss back on Sweet as they drag race down the Opal Finance main straight. Sweet to the inside on the Jonestown Jet and retakes the lead, and keep an eye on that black and blue 26 behind.
And that was a short slider from Sweet, and it worked out for him as Zierfoss is still in his back pocket, makes a little mistake right there off of turn number 4, gives up some real estate to the Landrigan Motorsports number 49. Madsen sits at the 3rd spot. Rico is in 4th. Car to the wall and almost upside down is Jai McKenzie. We go yellow.
So McKenzie in the 46. High speed shunt into the wall at turn 1 for car 46, while he was running in 7th position behind Lancaster and ahead of Chad Pittard in the Bunbury Ram entry, car number 92. McKenzie, really a rookie this season in the Maddington Toyota Series. Damage as we take a look at a replay into 1. And it was on his lonesome with the left-hand side of that shot and just climbing into the wall. What we're noticing, guys, is not that cushion is there, but if you get up, it will drag you into that concrete. Lancaster doing the same.
Matt, you're 100% right. You know, we talked about it. Night number 1 here at High Limit International was Jai McKenzie's 3rd night in a 410 wing sprint car, and he worked on his brother's race car at this event 1 year ago, and he said he just knew that he wanted and had to be a part of this event in 2025. Again, it's quite the deep end of the pool to jump into, and especially when you think about how racy this track is getting already, getting caught out there on the top side of turn 1. But Jai McKenzie, my hat is off to him completely, because this is not an easy thing to do, drive a 410 wing sprint car, and to jump in to the level of competition that he has. Absolutely nothing but respect for that young driver. I think you'll be seeing a lot more develop from his hard work over the coming years.
Yeah, I would be shocked if we come back next year and he's a guy that's, you know, in the feature every single night. I mean, he's already shown some incredible speed in a very short amount of time. Did want to mention Jason Kendrick. He's up into that 5th position, 1 spot shy of a transfer. And then you saw Lancaster getting into the wall right in front of Jai McKenzie. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted a Ryan Lancaster t-shirt there, Matt, because he is not scared. I have seen that over the last 3 nights. This guy lets it all hang out. If he hits the wall, he hits the wall and keeps on rolling. And I love that. It's fun to watch.
We talked off air about Ryan Lancaster's exploits in the Fink Desert race. With age comes a cage. He was a factory driver for Yamaha and KTM. He started his career in junior sedans and all things at Mini Cooper back in the day. So he's driven all kinds of race cars in his career.
Don't worry, Coney's got a bow tie on tonight. And Coney's dancing around a little bit there.
Chase, does that upset you that that traffic cone knows how to tie a bow tie and you don't?
It is pretty upsetting.
I'm with you, though. I'm the same.
I did learn how to tie a tie for the first time at the High Limit Banquet this year. So Coney doesn't have a tie on, but maybe someday we'll get him to have one. That'd be kind of funny if he had one flying behind him as he was driving around.
A bow tie is, in fact, a tie, Chase. I think what you mean is he doesn't have a necktie on.
Yep, necktie.
There we go.
Maybe someday.
Here comes Brad Sweet as there's a race about to start here again. The Californian leads for the Pennsylvanian. And Kerry Madsen, who runs in 3rd. Rico Abreu, Jason Kendrick knows this is his chance to get into the show, but it's been menaced by Ryan Lancaster as they make their way out of turn 2. The move on the inside here from Abreu on Madsen as through comes Brad Sweet.
Lancaster tries a slide job on Jason Kendrick, comes up short. Kendrick, oh, they're into the wall, upside down, nearly down the front straightaway. I have no idea how Cody Clayton did not go up and over down the front straightaway. Him and Chad Pittard getting together. And I'm telling you, the 40 was all 4 wheels up off the ground and kind of floated above the racing surface there before coming to a stop in turn 1.
It's guys 7th and 8th in the order at that point. The Budbury Ram car on the left-hand side and Cody Clayton that was suffering mechanical gremlins earlier tonight during the engine start period. So the Baddingtons were at a cable cam.
This will be a good angle of it right here.
Last 2 cars in your shot making their way onto the straight. And across the bows and over the top. And I'm with you. How did that not roll?
Unbelievable.
Big chunks of clay being scooted into the stiff, warm air here tonight at the Perth Motorplex. That's one of those lucky moments. You don't do that too often.
Yep, those 2 drivers both very, very green when it comes to 410 sprint car racing. Taking part in High Limit International for the first time in their careers. There's a look at Chad Pittard. Going to be some pretty severe damage to the front end of that car. But he will roll on. Here's another look at it from the Maddington Toyota cable cam. You'll see Clayton, right side of your screen. He's up on top of the inside berm. Maybe thinks that Pittard is not next to him. Comes up the track trying to get ready for the next corner. Gets over the left front. And somehow does not get up and over.
Normally in those situations, we've seen plenty of cars do that here over the years. They'd climb over and then go end for end down the straight. But he managed to just get a little bit of airtime with all 4 wheels off the ground from the speed shot. And by this point, look how high he got. Look at those chunks of clay going past the cable cam and over into the safety zone down there in turn number 1. It's a flat left rear tyre on the Cody Clayton car. That's not track related. That's from the contact during that one as he takes the balaclava off and calls this one a day.
Pittard is going to continue, so he will rejoin the field back in that 7th position. Green flag is waving once again in heat race number 2. It's still Brad Sweet showing the way.
So into 1. Kendrick trying to stay with the 4 ahead. Lancaster being dragged up into the fence this time in the Dingo D entry. Abreu to the inside of Kerry Madsen for third. Madsen says, no, you don't. He goes back up into third in that Diamond Bay 26.
Rico trying to improve his starting spot, but he's not careful, though. Jason Kendrick not too far behind. If these two get to racing, that could bring the Triple M 92.9 car back into the mix in that battle for transfer position.
Here he comes behind this group of cars. Abreu fourth, and in the show at the moment as Pittard persists with the Bunbury Ram car. Brad Sweet has pulled away from the field here. The gap 1.5 seconds as he comes on by with 2 laps remaining. It's still Zierfoss, Madsen and Abreu. Third, second, third and fourth.
2 laps to go. Kerry nearly gets in the wall in turn number 1, is able to turn it down the hill slightly and continue on in that third position as Kendrick is losing touch with Abreu. They'll come to the white flag this time by. It looks like the top 4 are pretty solid.
Brad Sweet leads with a lap remaining past the speed shot, and half a lap remains for the Californian in the Landrigan Motorsports car 49 to lock himself into tonight's dash with Kyle Larson and co. He'll win from Zierfoss, Madsen and Abreu, the 4 cars that will go through to the main. Jason Kendrick, Ryan Lancaster and Chad Pittard finishing 5th, 6th and 7th in this heat race with Clayton and McKenzie, our DNFs. Heat race number 2 of the night. It took a while to get going, but in the end, Brad Sweet, put your hands together for him, folks. He's been a winner before here in the West as we take a look at the replay and the highlights of heat number 2.
Yeah, Zierfoss looked like he was a contender to get the win there. Got by Brad a couple of times. Then we had a double moment there. McKenzie gets into the wall along with Lancaster, leaving McKenzie sitting back there, stopped on the racetrack. We go back green, and in just a few moments you'll see one of the more wild moments of the night involving Cody Clayton and Chad Pittard. And there it is.
Right there. Watch that chunk just above the camera.
Almost hit the camera.
It did, yeah. Across the top there. At least that caused another restart with Brad Sweet out in front and was fairly untouched from this point. The battle was on there momentarily between Lancaster and Chad Pittard. But the same 4 progressed, but it's Brad Sweet that will collect victory, put himself into tonight's dash, puts himself in a really good position in car number 49. The Jonestown Jet, Kerry Madsen and Rico Abreu as we go downstairs to Tony Laporta.
Rise Specialized Services heat race number 2 winners board goes into the hand of Brad Sweet. And just like his brother-in-law, Kyle Larson, we just spoke to, Brad, a 10th on night 1, a 6th last night. Just like Kyle, you're improving each night. But you told me that yesterday you felt like you left some points on the table, but yet fun racing. You're looking forward to tonight. Do you have the car and are you the driver to move forward?
I sure hope so. I messed up last night, and felt like kind of a rookie, like I made a lot of mistakes. Got the lead and went in there and blew it and missed the bottom. And yeah, just got to do a better job. The guys that are winning these races aren't making those mistakes. So Joe Mooney and Steve Melby and Robbie Farr, the Landrigans, they're all giving me a good race car. We were able to fight off Brock there. That was tough starting on the bottom and not really knowing where to be there, but yeah, the track's coming in nice. It's getting slick. It's a tricky off turn 2, so I really hope I can redeem myself. I felt like it's on my shoulders now. I got the car to do it. Hopefully we have a good dash, and then the A main it's gonna come down to making really good decisions and putting 30 good laps together.
Brad Sweet searching for redemption. That will be the title of this movie, perhaps tonight. It's a rare moment that you hear Brad Sweet say that he feels like a rookie, a 6-time national sprint car champion in the United States. He picked up 4 feature victories with us at High Limit last year. He has retired from full-time driving, but Chase, Matt, Brad Sweet's far, far from a rookie. We can't wait to see what he can do later.
Yep, a 3-time Perth Motorplex winner at that as well. As we look at the lineup in heat race number 3, on the pole of this one, he's from Lemoore, California. It's Cole Macedo in car number 40, and his outside starting in second from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. It's the Q65 of Luke Goldfield. Starting inside of row number 2, that is Daniel Harding from Canningville, Western Australia, and his outside in car number 8 from Osborne Park, WA. It's Andrew Priolo. Starting in 5th, it is Odessa, Missouri's Xavier Doney in car number 16, and his outside starting in the 6th position. From Miala, Western Australia, the 77 is Brad Mayolo. Starting in 7th, car number 94, it's Daniel Keane from Boyne FWA, and his outside from Darwin, Northern Territory, Australia, it's the number 84 of Chris Harrison. And the final starter in this one, it's car number 65, Harrison Pete from Parkerville, Western Australia.
Heat 3, thanks to Electrical Group Training. Get your electrical career off to a flying start with EGT, employing and training over 500 electrical apprentices in WA. Go to egt.net.au to get started.
Long-time supporters, League G2 of the Motorplex. We thank them. We thank all our sponsors that have been part of the last 3 nights. It is the High Limit International as the sun starts to set. Massive crowd here at the Perth Motorplex. If it's your first time, welcome. It'll leave you speechless later tonight, I can promise you that. So John Day Pace Ute pulls infield, and we're set for heat race number 3.
Underway as we get a nice even start up front. Luke Oldfield gets to the cushion first. Macedo trying to get the racetrack. What a move by Luke Oldfield to take the race lead down the back straightaway. And the Queenslander is going to show the way on lap 1, or is he?
Dramas.
As Priolo goes around in turn 3.
Hit the wall out of turn 2, and I think something's broken in the rear of the car. Maybe a bar on the Industrial Paints number 8. I was watching him while you were watching Macedo. I thought they were going to make contact in the middle of turn 2, but it's the number 8 that has spun after staying in 3rd position. Let's have a look. We took this from the drone shot. Oldfield on the outside and just stayed there, while Priolo got dragged up into the wall, over that cushion and into the concrete wall. But worse was to come down here at turn 3 and split the field in the middle of turn 3.
You know, you heard Brad Sweet in that interview. He said turn 2 is tricky, and it caught Andrew Priolo there. But imagine being Luke Oldfield and throwing your you-know-whats over your shoulder right there, driving around the outside up against the wall, a guy coming underneath you and almost running into you. You do all that, and it's all for naught.
Exactly. Back we go again. Tony?
I hate the fact that's going to get called back. I hate that anyone has bad luck, but Luke Oldfield.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he did something I don't think I'll ever be able to do, and he got nice and skinny up around the top through the middle of 1 and 2. And that was just that was a move that I think anybody could appreciate. That was a very, very aggressive start there on his part. But again, Chase, you said it perfectly. You are going to want to win these heat races like you've never wanted to win a heat race before, because the higher up you finish, the closer you start to the front of tonight's A main event. Heck, if you can win this heat race or any of these 4 heats, you're locked in to tonight's dash. And then the worst you can start is the 8th position. So, yeah, man, Luke Oldfield, that was pretty cool what he did up there on the top. Let's see if he can match it here on the restart.
And good stuff from Luke there. His best finish this year at the Perth Motorplex came back on December 6th. He was on the podium in 3rd, a 2-time winner last year over on the eastern side of the country at Toowoomba and Gladstone. He was 26th at the Boxing Night on Friday for Luke Oldfield, 22nd, and 14th in 3 features with High Limit International last year. Been doing it a long time.
Absolutely. Multi-time Queensland champion. We just saw the 8 being dragged to the infield. The good people from Inspiration Paints have jumped on board. It's their anniversary, in fact, of jumping on with the Priolo team. I bumped into Pino Priolo, who's watching on. It was a regular in the 90s at Claremont. Used to do the double. He would race Friday nights at Claremont, jump on the plane and go to Sydney overnight.
Wow.
And race over there at Parramatta before this venue opened back in the year 2000. Had a stint in drag racing as well, and a top door slammer. And Andrew Priolo back after missing the first couple of rounds. He's out of business, but out in front will be Cole Macedo and Luke Oldfield ready to pick up with a battle left off.
Keep an eye on that battle for the last transfer spot as well. For the start, Xavier Doney in the purple 16 has it. As the green flag comes out, another good start this time for Oldfield, but Macedo knows better this time. He gets right in front of the 65 car, who gets slid by Daniel Harding. Harding gets crossed up by Oldfield down the back straightaway. Harding going to point the car to the bottom, as is Xavier Doney. 3 wide for the second spot in turn 4.
Repair job on the Doney car has paid off. It's looking good out there as Mayolo challenges him for the final transfer position and gets it done. In the Australian Produce Brokers, car 77 almost turns the car inside out, allowing Doney to line up for another challenge here in the final transfer spot.
Doney going to try and make a slide job happen down here in turn number 1. You can feel it coming, and here he goes down to the inside in that first corner up the racetrack. He won't get there in time. Around the outside, Brad Mayolo banks off the curb, and he's going to have that 4th position. Now Doney's feeling the heat from the 84 of Chris Harrison. Harrison got upside down last night during the B main. He's going to take 5th across the line.
Good job from the Darwinite as he goes down the inside on the 16, who stays upstairs, and Harrison blocks any opportunity of that repayment. But here comes the American back down the inside. The battle for 5th and 6th with Cole Macedo continuing to lead.
This 5th spot is a big deal. It puts you right up there towards the front of the B main. If you can't make it in one of those transfers, Chris Harrison, it took him 3 days to drive over here from Darwin, Northern Territory. He wants to be a part of Highland International, the feature event, as Xavier Doney grabs the cushion in 3 and 4 and starts to pull away.
Brad Maiolo looks safe at the moment for the transfer spot. He's in 4th as Cole Macedo out to 2.5 seconds now on Luke Oldfield as he disappears down the Opal Finance Main Straight. Harding runs 3rd and Brad Maiolo holds down 4th.
The lead just over 3 seconds for Cole Macedo on Luke Oldfield, 3.0432 to be exact. He's coming to the wave of the white flag this time by. He can see the tail of the field. A dominant performance, a little bit of a close call right there for Macedo. Almost had the right front plug in the wall. He'll come to the checker this time by.
And has been the fastest car on track since the lights went out. And the Highline Motorsports team of Cole Macedo pick up the win and locks himself into tonight's dash from Oldfield, Harding and Brad Maiolo. A long way back then to Xavier Doney, Chris Harrison, Daniel Keane, and Harrison Pete will be the final finisher in the second of the Pete Motorsport cars, his rookie season. But it's Cole Macedo that picks up the win. Intimidator Boats and Wormhole Developments, number 40, gets into the dash, makes himself into the big show with Oldfield, Harding and Brad Maiolo in heat number 3.
Good to see Maiolo make the show. He did not make it the previous 2 nights, but he makes it on the one that means the most. And that 77 car will be a part of tonight's 35-lap finale. As here's a look at some of the highlights in that one. We already saw the main highlight, which was Oldfield, doing his thing and getting up next to the wall and driving around Macedo, but it didn't count as there's Maiolo making the pass on Doney for the transfer position. Doney would fight back, but he would ultimately come up 1 spot shy in the 5th position. They come across the line, and Cole Macedo, who's had a really, really strong debut weekend in that Highline Motorsport number 40, gets the job done. He'll now talk to Tony Laporta and be a part of tonight's dash.
Electrical Group Training Heat Race number 3 goes to Cole Macedo. We've seen him down here once already this weekend after picking up heat race number 2 back on night number 1. 3.5 seconds, the margin of victory in that heat race. I've had relationships that haven't lasted that long. I think you have as well. What did you learn about your race car? And what did you learn about Luke Oldfield on that initial start when he got around you on the start?
Yeah, I think that the top lane's actually the preferred takeoff line right now. I knew I was going to be in trouble there. I tried to lug him down as much as I could so he didn't have any momentum off the hill, but yeah, luckily I got a gift there. That's what puts you in position to win races like this. So I'm super thankful for that. And then this USA 40 Wormhole Developments, Highline Racing car is it's on rails, and Bob and the boys have been working hard, and I'm glad that we're in position to win 100 grand.
All right, we'll see you at the wheel spin later on, okay?
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's Cole Macedo. You don't even have to ask him. He loves coming down here to Western Australia and always has a good time. Small leak down there on the left front corner, but I don't think anything to worry about. They'll get it patched up. And Cole will probably hydrate later on tonight after this racing is over to make up for the lost fluids, if you know what I mean. Cole Macedo gets the job done in EGT heat race number 3.
Thank you, Tony Laporta. Heat number 4 is about to push away. Remember, the winner goes in the dash. Top 4 into the main event. Starting for pole is our Aussie champ in car number 1 for Team Brady Racing. James McFadden has the pole. Alongside him, it's Callum Williamson in car number 3, who starts on that front row. Aaron Reitzel starts out of 3 in the Monty Farms number 17, with Cameron McKenzie for company in car number 4 out of 4. James Inglis starts out of 5 out of 5. You get a feeling we're going to have something going on here. JD Dax starts out of 6 in the number 22 Machines 9. Inside row number 4, position 7, Jack Williamson in car number 24, the MDH Holdridge entry. Alongside him is Aaron Cherkop in car 45. Off the back in the Generation AG 51 is Tim King.
4th and final heat, thanks to Rise Electrics, your number 1 electricians in the Peel and Perth region that you can trust. A family-run business with over 90 years of combined experience and expertise. Our electricians are highly qualified. Rise Electrics offer all home and businesses a reliable service for all your electrical needs. Go to riseelectrics.com.au.
And what started with a couple of air horns 2 or 3 seasons back when we used to do our hostings down in turn number 1 has grown Here they come on the way down the main straight. Give yourself a wave, blow those horns. You're going right around the world. The Callum Williamson fan club and a Soul Cricky Motorsports fan we saw the other night down there. A brave, brave soul, Chase Rodman.
Yeah, it's the Callum and Cory fan section for the weekend here with Highland International. The horns are going off down there as they hope to see their driver make his way into the dash, but he's got to go by the current and reigning Australian champion of James McFadden, who's going to start from the front row inside in the A1.
What a couple of years it's been for the three-time Aussie champion. He won the Classic at Warrnambool for the third time. Started this season pretty strong as well with a victory at the Napa Speedway in Adelaide, the pop-up track used with the supercars. He won also up there in Mildura. Back over here at Team Brady Racing for a homecoming, if you like, and looking to take 100 large, another 10 for 2025 at Team Brady Racing, heading by the legendary Kim Buswell, who's been around the sport for decades and tuned for some of the greats in the world of sprint car racing.
Yeah, McFadden, it's been an up and down weekend so far, but he can turn it right around with a heat race victory here. And the same thing can be said for Aaron Reitzel. He starts third in this one. He's been having to come forward every single night in the feature events. He had to transfer to the B on night one, but this is an opportunity for him to really get things going in the correct direction here. We'll see if he can put up a fight for the 1 car and the number 3 after 8 laps of action. This is Rise Electric's heat race number 4.
Could this be the turnaround for the black and yellow 17? Behind is James Inglis. On the pole is the Aussie champ, James McFadden, with Callum Williamson on the outside and upstairs. Final heat is underway here at High Limit International.
Callum gets a great start, and he's going to uncork it off the corner, go 3 wide for the race lead. Aaron Wright's going to slip back into the 3rd spot, and Cam McKenzie, he sees an opening to the inside, going to slide in front of Wright'll take the 3rd spot away. Nice move from Cam McKenzie as Aaron Wright'll crosses him up and takes a spot back away into turn number 1. Behind them, it is a hornet's nest for that 5th position. It's Churkop, it's Inglis, and it's Williamson. They're nearly 3 wide down the backstretch.
Wright'll knew that was his chance at the start to go after those 2 ahead. He runs in 3rd with Cameron McKenzie on the final transfer spot. You're right, it is a hornet's nest behind between Williamson, Inglis, JD Dack, and Aaron Churkop, to name a few.
And JD's going to kiss the wall 2, 3, 4 times off the 2nd corner. Aaron Churkop, he'll point the car down low. Big slider coming in from Cherky. He'll take over the 6th position down the front straightaway. Now James Inglis has a run. JD Dack right back underneath the Churkop into turn number 1. He'll get to the cushion. Churkop tries to run the middle. So does Inglis. And Tim King is there as well. A great entertaining battle for that 6th spot.
These guys looking for higher spots in the B main tonight, with the other cars further up the speedway now, with Cameron McKenzie on that final transfer spot. The leader comes past to complete another lap. Callum Williamson by 1.6 seconds through Maddington Toyota turn 2 for the next lap here at the Motorplex. So McFadden, Wright'll, and Cameron McKenzie. But you can't take your eyes off this battle, can you?
But we got a battle for the transfer spot now. Around the outside comes Jack Williamson. He's going to take that position down the back straightaway. Jack Williamson into the transfer. Cam McKenzie around the bottom. He's trying to get back by him off of turn number 4. It's not going to happen. And JD Dack's trying to get involved as well. But Jack Williamson, who has not made a single feature all weekend long, has put himself into a transfer spot.
Huge move for the 24 as he makes the show at the moment. Callum Williamson on the final lap, and he's going to arrive on the scene of these lap cars ahead. A dominant display from the Williamson Motorsport Avalon Group number 3. Makes himself into the dash, and that is a masterclass drive from Williamson when he needed to do it. McFadden was next, Wright'll 3rd, and Jack Williamson gets into the show. Huge run from the Casuarina driver. Gets himself into tonight's main. McKenzie 5th. JD Dack behind in 6th, and Inglis, King, and Churkop. And don't you think they love it down here at turn 1?
Oh boy, man, they said they changed cars, and I can tell you right now, you don't even need to ask him if the car is better. It is. You can see that that car is much better than what he has been having to deal with for the last couple of nights. Winning the heat race over the defending Australian champion by 2.5 seconds in 8 laps.
Comfy pair of jeans at number 3 for him tonight. This is Wright'll and McKenzie. The Monty Farms driver went around the outside there at turn 2. JD Dack kissed the wall twice on this lap going past Inglis. Churkop dropped himself in between those 2. But what about the run from Williamson? Just disappeared down the road to 2.5 seconds over the Aussie champ. That's hard to do in a short race.
Yeah, he had a lap time that was 4/10 faster than the next closest guy in that heat race. Callum Williamson is feeling himself right now, and he's going to talk to Tony Laporta about it.
I certainly am. He is certainly going to talk to me about that, Chase. Good on you. Callum Williamson picks up the winner's board here in Rise Electrics, heat race number 4. He'll snap a quick photo. He gets to hold on to that winner's board. That's exciting. He might hang that up in the living room, maybe in the basement. We're not sure where he'll put it. Hey, Chase Rodman upstairs says we don't need to ask you, but I'm going to ask you anyway. The new car, do you like it so far?
Oh, I love it, mate. We call it the OG, the Old Faithful car. So Brody and the boys last night, they didn't get this car ready until 4:30 this morning, so they're buggered. They've done a great job. Can't thank them enough. I feel absolutely comfortable again in this car, and we've probably got something to put on the show tonight.
They're buggered. Does that mean they're tired?
Yeah, they're stuffed. They put in some hard work, and it's obviously just not my car. They got Cory Day's car to deal with as well. But we've got 2 fast race cars right now, and hopefully we can put them at the front tonight.
All right, we hope you're not too buggered after this feature is over. That is probably the best pace we've seen out of Callum Williamson all weekend. Chase, I don't know if you agree, but man, he was driving that thing right around the top where we know he loves it. It's not Cory's corner yet in turn 1. Callum Williamson putting up a good fight here in heat number 4.
And driving it like he stole it in that heat race there, as we've got our 4 locked-in drivers out on the racetrack for a quick hot lap session. Those 4 drivers, including Dane Kingshot in car number 2, Buddy Kofoid in the 7, Cory Day in the 3, and Jock Goodyer in the 22. These 4 drivers were not in those heat races, as they were the top point earners after 2 prelim nights. They'll get 3 or 4 laps to feel these cars out, because the next time they're on the racetrack, Matt, it's that dash.
You see a lot of this in the US over the year. This is something new to what we see in Australia, having the drivers sit out the heat races like this. How do you approach this? I mean, they're fairly cold now. They've had a chance to look at the track earlier, but now they haven't had the heat race advantage that the other drivers have had.
And it's also pretty rare to get on the track for the first time and for the track conditions to be like this, right up on the wall. I mean, just watching some of these guys, it is like poetry in motion, watching them kiss the concrete around the Perth Motorplex. As there is Buddy Kofoid, who's currently the fastest driver in this quick hot lap session at a 14.087. You can see Jock trying to move his car around a little bit, tries the bottom.
Dane kissing the wall there in the 3.
And he goes to the top.
Just like that. Might have helped him. 14.071. Buddy Kofoid, 14.087. Jock Goodyer, 14.381. And Dane Kingshot, 14.477. And that's all they'll get before the dash. It's a replay.
And here is Cory Day getting a piece of the wall. And like you said, Matt, it may have helped him here as he goes to the top of the board on that final lap. He is not afraid of it, that's for sure.
It's just tapping it, just kissing the wall around the corner. Maybe that is helping him. We heard from the team on the first night that it did do a bit of damage on opening night, but seems to be effective as the sun sets over the west here at the Perth Motorplex. Cory Day topping the timesheets for our dash race. Those 4 cars heading back into the pits. Next time we see them will be the battle for pole position here tonight at the High Limit International.